but as a player, not so much. He had to stand in for them at that event, and they made magic happen. If you have never seen that story, go back and watch it when you can between the games, because this is going to be the best parallel. Team Liquid, they've got to stand in here as well, and the crowd. Chad, give me your best cause right now, right?
That is a 10,000 plus strong crowd with the passion of probably 100,000 more. It is absolutely packed in here. There is no free seat. And you were saying, we were bringing up this storyline of subs for a reason, because Dota is a game of miracles.
Yeah.
Nothing is impossible. This is a Liquid squad that can win this grand final. We saw them take down Talon earlier convincingly in a 2-0. They're starting to figure out where they want to put jabs, on which role they want to play them, which heroes are going to be most effective for them. The adjustments are being made, and the more time they get to make those adjustments without the pressure on them, the scarier this team can become. So if you're game and you want to knock them out early, you want to knock them out hard and fast.
Yeah, because you do not want to let this Liquid team start getting some momentum, as they did not look so good in the upper bracket finals. But in the lower bracket finals, it seemed they found a winning success, maybe an extra night of planning and adjustments like you were talking about. Either way, as you said, you want to take them out real early and do not let this team start figuring something out for themselves, because going into this, they were supposed to be the best team coming to this tournament. But Gaming Gladiators have made one hell of an argument for themselves. These are actually two teams who have only lost one series in this entire event. Liquid, of course, losing the upper bracket finals, but Gaming Gladiators topped out their group as well and only lost a series. They went 0-2 against Evil Geniuses.
Proving that the group stage does indeed matter a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
a little bit.
If you do pretty well there, you might do pretty well on the main stage. Two #1 seeds going at it. And of course, these were the two dominant seeds in that Western Europe regional as well.
Yep.
Pretty much only losing to each other or coming close. Could we see the Quinn Huskar return in this series, give them the nightmare fuel that they were used to that took the game off them in that league? Anything's possible. And looking at this game, honestly, I'm a bit worried for Liquid again. I feel like they're in a similar position to when they played gaming in that upper bracket, where you have really strong tempo on this gaming side between the Timber and the Primal, where both versus matchups, they're very happy laning versus.
Yes.
These heroes get out of control early, they're just going to run you over on the map. This is another lineup where you're playing the Mag and Tusk Furion for that late game. We've seen Mickey go absolutely ham on this Furion, but you have to get there. And maybe that road is paved with the Zyjays.
Yeah, they're going to have to drop a lot of them, that's for sure. Because this lady face just looks rough. I love the adjustment Gaming Gladiators, this Timbersaw pick. I mean, you said, when you saw the Timbersaw, you were like, this looks like a game-winning Timbersaw pick right here. I mean, they don't really have answers to it.
This is the Goblin's dream. And when we saw that Primal, I was like, wait a minute, does Quinn play Primal Beast? Because I don't think I remember ever seeing him play Primal. I mean, he doesn't have the time to practice this new hero between the Leshrac spam, so your pool's going to be limited here. But of course, they could put the Timber mid because it's a Tuskar, right? And this is a matchup, if you remember, Nisha actually started playing that mid Timber versus some of these melee strength heroes and abusing it in that sense. So maybe using a little bit of his own medicine against him here. Not a bad way to start a best of 5 if you're wanting to get in someone's head.
I mean, either way, Quinn is off to a great start when it comes to CS. Sure, he's got the Whirling Death and stuff, but seriously, 6 denies over this Tusk. He's destroying Nisha right now.
Oh, he's having the time of his life. And this is a hero that once you get going, once you get the levels, especially with solo XP, mid Timber is a different beast than that side lane Timber, because you're guaranteed the high levels going into that early mid game. And that's where this hero just becomes an absolute menace on the map, especially when you're playing versus a lineup with double strength course between this Mag and the Tusk. It's a lot of armor to fight through and a lot of pure damage coming back your way.
Talk to me about this Magnus pickup. You saw my reaction to it, especially after the Timbersaw. I was not feeling super good. Why did they grab this hero?
We've seen it be a Lina counter. And this is where Zai has to pick his poison in terms of that last pick offlaner. What does he want to play? He's going to lane with Insania. Maybe that throws it a little off too. But you get the BKB Pierce, you get the hero displacement, you can drag the Lina in and then just burst her with the super high physical. These mag lineups can function similar to some of these other ranged physical lineups we've seen, like SFTA, right? You get the minus armor, super high physical, plus the BKB Pierce. It's a good formula to deal with this Lina hero in that late game. That said, you're not going to pressure him on the lane, and that means Dyrachyo is going to have a very good start, especially with Tree and Protector. This is just the ultimate Lina dual lane this entire tournament.
Then again, is it even possible to pressure this dual lane? Like, no matter what your pickups are? I feel like Tree and Lina has got to be one of the hardest lanes to beat, so maybe it's better just to ignore the laning phase entirely.
I don't know. You could like get Celery to unplug his keyboard or something.
Yeah, that's always an option. A little bit of shenanigans.
I mean, we saw him juggling earlier. Maybe that ball hits the power button and suddenly you're winning this Lina lane.
He got up the living armor beforehand. Celery is going to take a lot of damage as Insania is going to keep up with him here, but he does have the Elixir that might be able to help him live, but no, Insania on his debut performance on Hoodwink when it comes to professional matches managed to pick up the first blood over Gaming Gladiators.
And even more than their debut, right? You were talking about stats. You said this is the 1000th game Insania and Mickey have played together.
Oh, yeah.
On the dot. This game one of this best of 5 is their exact 1000th game. Yeah, history in the making.
Shout out to Knoxville for that stat. As Mickey is going to be in some trouble here. Jab's going to cut over. They're going to try and trade off heroes, but it's not going to be good enough as Jab's not going to be able to chase after Tofu and get that kill. So this is where that Primal Beast starts taking over. I mean, you need answers to Liquid's Nature's Prophet, and it seemed like Talon could not come up with any. Gaming Gladiators, though, this Primal Beast, I think, is a great choice.
Yes, we saw Team Spirit really favor this matchup, right, for Collapse. He would just take it to the Furion early. You get 3-4 kills in that early game, and suddenly Furion's too far behind to fight these carry matchups. Similar idea here, only you have 2. You have the Timber and the Primal Beast that Furion hates playing for a long period of time. If you get to that 5 or 6 slot late game, sure, the stack game comes online. You got to remember this Furion hero has the best body in Dota. I know you thought that was you, Cap, but unfortunately, it is the Nature's Prophet with 9.9 stack gain. This is why this hero is so scary in the late game. Plus, you have that buyback teleport, so you can fight through these counter matchups. It's just a question of do you get there on even footing, and nice bushwhack.
That was a really beautiful one. Not that they can really do too much. I mean, the regen is just... Well,
it's crazy.
We'll see. It's a lot of regen. Then again, Shockwave does a lot of damage too. So maybe it's possible they can get a kill. I honestly gave up on it once I saw Train Protector. The whole idea of getting a kill against this Lina seemed impossible to me.
I gave up when I saw Lina in the draft. You had more time than me. Of course, double damage going to spawn for Quinn. He's going to instantly soak up that rune. But remember, gaming plays for these runes. They're willing to bring the supports early and try and guarantee them for him. And something else to mention about this top lane, when you give Lina a start like this, it's a hero that can forsake all other small items in the game and rush the early farming item in that Maelstrom. Duraccio, no boots, no extra regen, just stick quelling into that Maelstrom right off the Javelin. So when you give Lina a start like this, she's going to use it, and she's going to use it better than almost any other carry.
That kind of feels like to me, then we need to see someone from Liquid come up to this top lane, because they are close to, like, killing the Lina. They just need another round of nukes to do so.
Yeah, but who does it? It's so far, and Mickey is not going to have that type of leniency here.
No, he's not. He's going to throw out the Sprout, hide himself the tree answer. Once again, going to go for the trade-off, and Tofu will fall, but it's after the Nature's Prophet dies. So Mickey, he misses out on all the experience.
Oh, that sucks for him. You really want to get this early level 6 on the Furion too, especially in a game where you're worried about his matchups going into that mid game.
Yeah.
Every death on this Furion adds up, and now Ace with that early Vanguard, he's invincible down here. Do you even want to go back here if you're Mickey?
I mean, that was my thought. I was like, if you need a little bit of extra damage to kill the Lina, then maybe the Nature's Prophet should go up to that top lane to help out. But doing it before level 6 is gotta suck. Java in some trouble here, but there it is. They are gonna go for the top. They got the Sprout on him. No bushwhack just yet. They can hit him with the skewer. That's a nice swing, but it's not quite enough of the shockwave, and now they've overextended themselves. Zai knows it too. He's gonna cut through the trees. Quinn's gonna investigate.
Oh, wait.
No
just
way.
That.
He actually thought that Zai somehow snuck away to the left-hand side. Zai now pops out like, hello. I was in the trees hidden the whole entire time. They're going to get the toss back on Insania. Looks like he will fall. So finally, Gaming Gladiators do get something.
I cannot believe Zai got out of there.
Yeah.
And this whole time, Jabs has just been running for his life from this Primal Beast. The second pulverized to send him back to the fountain here. My God, how much can one skull get crushed? This is just an open tower for Ace and a completely open game. Honestly, this TP doesn't even hurt Quinn too much because Mickey was the one committed to it. And this reminds me of that Furion TP that Shopify made versus them in that match, if you remember.
Yeah.
Where Arteezy went top early on this Furion, that move didn't work out, and suddenly, where is there to go on this map? Yeah. After that one move fails, you lose a lot of space, you lose a lot of time, and all 3 gaming cores topping the charts here pretty much. Outside of Nisha, who if you remember, he got dunked on by Quinn in that upper bracket series. So he's looking for some revenge.
And I don't think either one of the supports can feel comfortable in that bottom lane just yet. They're going to go for the kill onto Timbersaw here. Without level 6 on the Hoodwink, it's super difficult.
I mean, even with it, this Timber is just going to be way too tanky. I mean, that's only 2 points for reactive armor, too.
Yeah.
This is a mid-Timber who's just maxing the nukes, and Quinn's ready to join the fights and slay. Not necessarily just playing super defensive. And again, tier 1 bottom, just absolutely free. Jabs can do nothing to stop this except soak up the XP. It's not insanely sad about that, but this is a lot of room for a Primal Beast with an early Vanguard that can just run this early game over.
I mean, a lot of room for everybody. Nisha is going to try another rotation here up to the top lane, see if they can kill the Lina, who is low. The Snowball, it's going to lead off first. Let's see if he lands the LSA. Not before the Walrus Punch lands. Good hit. Now a Bushwhack catch onto the Tree Protector as well. Scoot him away from the trees just in case, and a double for Nisha.
Wrath of God also coming through, so a Wrath of Nature. I'm sorry, I'm already assuming Nick is a god, but he has to get there first. So an extra assist gold, you get the Courier on top, making the most out of the few moves you can make here in the early game, and they have to count. Nisha's connections have to hit. If this Tusk makes side lane moves and they don't work, you were just losing way too much farm.
Yeah. I like that they did block out the Ancients. I mean, losing lanes and giving them Ancient stacks would just, I think, that's pretty much a formula for GG. So they've at least stopped that second problem. And now with the rotations in Nisha, they're slowing down the Lina as well. So Liquid's doing some little things.
I like it. Nisha going to try for another kill here, perhaps. Tofu, you're in the wrong neighborhood.
Looking pretty dead, but is the Tusk going to die immediately afterwards? Or is Tofu going to die at all? They ran out of damage. They managed to get the LSA on Insania. The last hit isn't quite enough. Pops the Fairy Fire, but the Tusk does die.
Ooh, that hurts. Yeah, maybe you're hurting the economy in terms of the stacking. It's good that Liquid did their homework here. They know what gaming want to do. They've been one of the heavier stack teams. Perhaps that's also what this Riki pick is designed to do. Get in the jungle areas early, give you the vision. But if you can't win the skirmishes, gaming don't necessarily need the stacks.
Sure.
They're going to start farming you. And they're going to start fountain farming you soon. You don't get a foothold in this game because Quinn and Ace are already a little out of control. And these are heroes that use it very quickly and very easily. They're reliable gankers, they're reliable killers. The damage is always overwhelming. That's the strength of Primal Beast. You have another quick smoke here, counteracting Nisha's move.
Running into Celery. Let's see if they can get this kill fast before the Primal Beast comes in, but no, the Overgrowth is going to be able to catch them both, and they will both die without getting a kill for it. And even Insania going to have to run away here.
And they're tipping the man who isn't there for the extra psychological edge. And now,
oh no!
Sure, you block our Ancients, but you can't block your own. Quinn's just going to steal it.
Man, he's going to have a very fast Kaya Sanj at this rate.
Man, this game is already looking rough. It's going to be an uphill battle. You're down 4K 12 minutes versus a Lina Treant lineup. You're likely not going to get the tier 1s easily because, as we've seen, gaming are happy to defend them and happy to react. Stay in the trees.
So many ways to be able to cut through those trees. They're going to go for the kill into the Rubik. Hit him with the RP, but grabbed immediately by the Primal Beast. They do have the smoke screen, though, to be able to stop that. They do manage to get the skewer back underneath the tier 2 tower. Ace is strong, but he's going to be caught by the Bushwhack, and that Vanguard is not going to be good enough against a tier 2 tower. And 5 heroes from Liquid, he will finally fall.
Bring the whole squad. Make sure you win the fights that you have to win, because that is a must-win right there.
Oh, yeah.
If you let him get away with that, you're letting him get away with murder.
He's already gotten away with murder a couple of times.
There's only so much these IJs can do.
Yeah. Look at him. He's already thinking about Aghanim Scepter on the Tusk.
I mean, this is the anti-Luna build.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing to blink, kick this hero in at some point. That said, you're not going to have this early Deathsel on the Tusk. You're not going to have the early Pierce damage. Maybe you feel like reactive armor plus Treant armor is just going to debilitate that itemization anyway. But then it's a question of, how are you going to play this map with the tier 1 disadvantage versus a Treant, versus a lot of gaming cores that are happy to show aggressively in places because the pickoff is not going to be there for a while.
Jeez, everywhere we look, it feels like Gaming Gladiators is farming double stacks everywhere. And I don't really think there's too much going on to the favor of Liquid right now. Look, a number of their heroes are just kind of like walking around. We see Jab's going to be blocking out camps again. We've got Insania, who's kind of holding up in that jungle area.
I do like this conceptual idea of limiting the stacking from gaming because it has been their MO all tournament.
Yeah.
If Jabs can do this kind of gameplay, he's relegated to this. It makes his game simple. It makes it straightforward. He can buy the shard and then still have high impact with this rookie scouting. It's a way to use your stand and make him comfortable. And another smoke dodge here. These are really important for Mickey to read, so you can keep the map pressure up and let your other cores push out side lanes. Because they have no intention of skirmishing right now and no intention of taking the 5-on-5.
Which is so scary against Timbersaw, who has such long initiation range, and there's the Primal Beast to follow it up to.
With even longer initiation range. There are not a lot of safe places once you show. Jabs is already in courier killing duty.
Do what you can.
It's a little early, you know. You don't want to punch that clock till a little later.
Well, it looks like Tier 1 Tower is going to be given up at this point. Ace is able to tank it pretty easily, and even if they're not the best tower killing duo, they'll get it eventually. Ace will snag the last hit. Jirachi is farming up big stacks everywhere he goes. He's going to go for a Hurricane Pike, which that'll help quite a bit. Sprout, Smokescreen, Ice Shards. There's a lot of stuff that is just, you know, Force Staff's going to be super valuable against.
He missed the Ancient D-Ward, though. Just on the corner, it's a little out of range, so Jab's getting some value in. You got to look for every little thing, and now Liquid going to make a smoke up.
Why are they trying to make a play now?
I mean, they have Blink on Zai.
Oh, okay.
So you want to get a good Blink RP kill here. You're going to group up for it. It's going to cost you on the map. But, again, if you get big core pickoffs right now, you slow down this game momentum. That's what you're looking for. And Ace, they don't want him. They want the bigger prize. Oh, they're going to take him. I was about to say, that's a pretty decent kill.
Yeah, not bad. Zai sees the opportunity. And they will bring him down. RP's still up too, so.
Yeah, that's nice. Now you can threaten another big core kill with this Blink RP. You create a lot of space in your own jungle. You get some extra D-wards off. And more importantly, Nisha is going to go this Deso build. Oh, he was going Deso. Now he switched it back up to BKB. So he's thinking about his itemization as much as I am. It's a good sign. It means he's focused in the game, but it also means Liquid has a read on how they want to play this game and what timings they want to take the fights at. Again, I think the Deso is just too counter too early here.
Yeah. Zai, Skewer, does manage to get some distance, but Quinn has a haste root, so this is very dangerous. They don't really have too many stuns to deal with him. Let's see if a Bushwhack can land. The RP does not go out in time. The Bushwhack, it doesn't land either. Insania's going to have to sneak away through the trees. Jabs is here as well, but still far away from his shard, even though it's 16 minutes in.
Quinn personifying the Angry Goblin.
Yeah.
He has played this hero many times, but he has also played its life on the NA server.
The Goblet of US East. Is that who Quinn is?
I'm not going to say that, but you know.
Well, of course, the fans here have a different nickname for him. Cabezon?
That's true, that's true.
5,000 net worth lead for Gaming Gladiators, 10-7. So leading kills, leading in net worth, leading in map control, and they don't really fall off too quickly either. I mean, we've talked about how Primal Beast is a hero that, you know, doesn't have the best scaling in the world, but Lina's going to feel very good. This is probably a Timbersaw who can go late. I'm sure he'll take some inspiration from Whisper at some point and get an Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, you played a scale and frontline on this Timber. You get the Shivas at some point, you get the Ags.
It's a massive kill, and they're going to lead off the Shockwave, pull him over to the side, and easily run him down. Nice steal, too. Not Wrath of Nature.
Easy. Philosopher's Stone going into their hands, and now you're invading this triangle for the third time. It feels like this game, stealing more ancient stacks, routing Team Liquid's map. Look at where they are. All top left. There's nowhere to go.
Sentry there on the side. Jab's going to get caught.
The damage between this duo is way too high.
Oh, yeah.
And they are happy just running Liquid around this map because, of course, you have the ultimate Lina of all the Linas at this tournament. The actual true Lina. Just farming. Durachio has not been touched. 0-1-1, pretty quiet, but he went early Force Staff. It eliminates a lot of the kill threat here. Gets him over the shards out of the Ricky Smokescreen.
Salary gets there in time. Stopping the TP. I mean, Liquid is already in desperate. We haven't even reached the 20-minute mark, and they're trying to do cutesy, like, creep wave cutting stuff.
Out of control.
Yeah.
And Gaming are just giving them absolutely no breathing room. These TPs between the two cores have been instantaneous every time. They know what Liquid want to do with this Furion lineup, and they're not allowing it to happen. Which means early BKBs are going to come out here, and that's just going to cause even more problems for Liquid because you want to get to this Ricky Shard before you can just counteract this spell in the fights. I'm not even sure it's going to have great impact here. You're getting it delayed. Jabs is still 200 off this shard. afford the little blue satyr, you're going to have BKB on Primal Beast at the same time this shard comes out.
Yeah.
I feel for you, man. I feel for you.
There is no way to stop this initiation then at that point. Like,
No.
the best they can do is RP or maybe Walrus Punch or something, but it's not going to feel good.
And you're not going to kill him in it. The Vanguard is still
No.
going to make it tanky here for a while. This is another game where I feel like Zai has been put in this, 3-4 hybrid role where he's not farming and scaling like when I feel Liquid feels really good.
Yep.
It's like that. It reminds me of that Pango game where he got sacked and he just fell really far behind a network. This Mag is going to fall behind a network because he's running around in the gank squad trying to find something on the map with the early blink. Every time you do this, it costs you a lot, and I don't think Gaming really care if you make these moves. They're just going to Roche, put an Aegis on this Lina, and suddenly you can just go early high ground in this game if you want to. There's not a lot of high ground defense for this Liquid lineup. You can have Stolen Wrath of Nature on Tofu here. This is going to counteract some of that Furion pressure. Probably just win you a fight if you take it, because there's no spell immunity on Liquid side outside of BKB, which is closing in for the Tuskar. And Mickey does have one too, so they are going double BKB, but that's pretty much it.
It just means their damage is going to be pretty limited then.
You have to choose between the defensive or the offensive here.
Yeah.
Neither one looks great when you're down this much gold in an Aegis. They get the Aegis to Quinn too. Arcane rune number 1 for the series. I'll note it down somewhere in my notebook.
Arcane rune. Lots of good control. I mean, really, the only thing is they just can't really hit towers the fastest. But you could eventually just brute force it.
I mean, it's at Duracio's choosing.
Yeah.
Like, when Duracio wants to start hitting objectives this game, they're going to do it. Otherwise, they're just going to run these heroes around, limit Liquid space, and mess with them. Because you can do a lot of messing here. There's Ricky Shard, but putting them to sleep for what? For next game.
Maybe later they can go and, like, sleep into a skewer back when Gaming Gladiators does start approaching certain
do you have the
objectives.
damage when that happens?
I don't think so. I mean, it's certainly not against the Timbersaw or the Primal Beast. Maybe some other heroes. Nisha, they're going to go on him. Onslaught on through. He snowballs back, returns a little fire. And now, nice shockwave actually stopping that ultimate from Ace, pulling him into the smoke screen.
Yeah, they're going to chip him there. I feel like that was a damage test. Playing Ag's Labyrinth or something?
Yeah. I felt like it was a BKB test. I felt like they were trying to like force that out of Nisha, but he held on to his.
All right, they can blink skewer here.
Okay, that's something. They're going to go for the Rubik. That's an easier kill for sure. And it looks like the Primal Beast actually a two-man RP. That's very nice. And they're going to be able to get both of those kills. Even the Shard blocking out Celery. Another Sleeping Dart.
Oh, the setup is there.
They definitely have the heroes to be able to kill him.
Liquid striking back, and honestly, Gaming just being too greedy.
And with 3 down, ooh, Duracio, they spot him for a moment. Quinn
fight with Aegis. But this is 1v5, son.
Okay.
A 3 and 5.
A buyback, they found the Lina. They pull him in. They're just going to start going for Duracio. The BKB goes out. Duracio turns around, finish off 1-2. A second goes down, but Mickey does finish him off. BKB lasts long enough. He can TP out. Very smooth by Liquid. I mean, at this point, you got to be giving up some heroes if you want to be able to kill that Lina. Quinn? Oh, Timber Chain after the Bushwhack is pulling him in, so it actually pulls him out of it.
But Liquid got everything out of that fight. You got a 3 and 5. You also got Gem out of that.
They got a gem?
You stole Celery's gem. It's on Nisha now. That's going to make Ricky's game really easy. What just happened in that mid lane? I was about to say, Gaming, they were playing this map very greedy. They showed cores on both side lanes there while Ace is playing up mid. This is just something that cannot happen when 5 heroes are off the map. And suddenly you're giving up a huge numbers fight where this RP skewer and that Sleeping Dart can go to work. The setup can be there.
They just can't give him the numbers. Zai, he's going to have to do something to be able to save him here. He goes for a skewer away, but the telekinesis made things awkward along with the Timber Chain. So Mickey just falls.
And of course, Haste Rune helping Quinn out there as well.
Yeah.
He's still having a very clean game here, 6-0 and 3. Scaling like a beast, playing aggressive with this Aegis, taking away the farm from this Furion. But Mickey does get to complete Mjolnir here. And this is a lot of the damage that they were lacking. This is what's going to pierce through the early armor and the early physical from Vanguard, these types of items. Suddenly you have a lot more magic damage that's going to come out from this Furion, maybe earlier than you expected, and it's going to scale. It's going to scale pretty hard. You can throw this charge on Nisha as well. There's some hope. There's some hope in this game. I thought they were just going to get rolled because that was looking rough, especially with full Roche control. But suddenly, Duracho gives up a death. You get that gem out of their hands. Can play the map a bit better and maybe let this Ricky go to work. He can play a lot more aggressive now without that gem.
We had a chance to be able to talk to Quinn yesterday after their victory against Team Liquid in the upper bracket finals. And one thing he made really certain was that when it came to the matchups, you had to be disciplined and respect the opponent, no matter what the situation was. And we can see from his play that he has been very, very clean, even if the rest of his team has maybe slipped up a little bit in that one engagement.
Well, it's good to know he's changed, because when I played for him,
he didn't do that for you?
There was not a lot of respect, I'll tell you that
much. Double damage with an RP, Walrus Punch. They're going to use everything they have to try and finish off this Primal Beast. They've got him.
What a timely double damage as well. Can't ask for it on a better hero here. And now Nisha's going to go back for that Desolator. Maybe feeling like this game is not as rough as it started out.
Yeah, I mean, when he had the Aghanim Scepter queued up, in my mind, you've basically given up on the mid-game. You know, it feels like to me, it's like, okay, we are losing the game, and we're going to keep losing the game, and we kind of need a Hail Mary. That's my read of the Axe build.
I think Quinn had a different read as well. Yes, she does, but DD's still online. Everybody's empowered.
He's not going to be able to Timber Chain out. Now with that smoke screen there, now with the shards blocking him in. Game and Gladiators are slipping up a bit against Liquid and really giving them a fighting chance now.
This gem loss costs them so much because this Ricky is picking them off on the map right now. And they've been playing greedy this whole game. They have not stopped. It's kind of what their lineup wants to do. Use the early advantage to force those side lanes super deep versus the Furion. But if you give up huge core kills like this, Mickey can pick up the slack in terms of that group hurting your economy, right? He's still going to farm really heavily. And this is an Empower lineup. This Tuskar is going to scale like an absolute monster. You're going to have Muhammad Ali punching you in that late game. Not your average Dota player.
Yeah, I've seen Quinn.
I wasn't going to make that
the average Dota player.
No, Quinn is far above the average Dota player in a lot of ways.
Tofu's had some great steals. Wrath of Nature twice in a row.
Yeah, and he's also really farmed in this game.
Yeah.
He is jacked. Aether, Force, Blink. Philosopher's Stone helping him out there as well. He's going to have his pick of the litter in terms of the fights because he also has frontline for days, right? Between Primal and Timber, the benefit of these types of lineups is your backline can play super patient. You don't have to start fights with this lift. You can just play for the saves, play for the counter steals. Like you said, Wrath of Nature 2 up. You start a fight off with Wrath of Nature, get another good spell steal. Might just win you an engagement here.
I mean, the good fight that they had against the Lina, I'm seeing this Satanic that he's queuing up, and I'm trying to imagine, like, if Lina gets caught like that again, skewered back, a Satanic with that much HP...
You might live.
He might live, and if he gets off the Satanic hits, then he's probably going back up to full HP. They really need that Desolator. They need that kind of burst damage if they hope to be able to kill the Lina within an RP.
Well, they might get a chance to test it out here if you're not careful.
What an ambush here. Skewered back as well. RP immediately laid out. See if they can finish him off easily.
There's your real damage test, and now it's more than there. Liquid are finding the moves in this game, Cap, and Gaming are bleeding away the lead one pick at a time, one core kill at a time. When was the last time Gaming got anything going? Feels like almost 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And remember, Nisha's just running around this map with a gem, so you're losing vision as well. You got to stop the bleeding here, and you got to stop it soon, because we've seen this Mickey Furion in the late game. It is a scary beast.
Jab's going to go hunting here. Got force that forward to see if they can catch up because they had this super nice vision on the high ground, but it looks like Gaming Gladiators, they saw it coming thanks in part to this ward on the high ground.
But that ward's gone.
It's gone. They probably have a read of where that deep ward is from Liquid as well, but...
Man, look at... I am so impressed by how well Liquid is playing this map with the Furion. This is why they are one of the scariest Fury teams in this lineup. It's not just about Mickey being really good with the hero. It's how they play the map around him, abuse the fact that he can join them while still mopping up all the other parts of the lanes. This is happening really fast, and all of a sudden, you're down to a 3K gold lead.
Yeah.
Where this game was looking 14-15, you brought it back to even. That said,
Mickey is going to get picked off. Finally, Gaming Gladiators get something going. With Mickey dead, I mean, when you are running around as like kind of a four-man, it's the Nature's Prophet that enables all of this. As soon as he dies, the map kind of collapses in under itself.
And that's the best target you want to find. It's like playing versus IO. You want to find the IO pair, take them off the map, because then you don't have that numbers fight that's causing you problems. So a little slip up here by Mickey. Again, that tier 1 top is still up. It's been up for 29 minutes in this game. Benefit of Treant, but also benefit of how rough that early game was.
Yeah.
And that's why Mickey really wanted it here, because Furion without the tier 1s,
he's got the Satanic.
Not as good.
This is going to be a harder kill than it was last time. They get the smoke screen, the skewer, but they actually have him.
No right clicks.
No right clicks out whatsoever. The smoke screen probably helping out big time there, Celery. Looks like they're running out of damage now. And Zai gets caught by Ace, and Ace is going to go charging for more. Nisha snowball to be able to dodge that little bit of damage. Managed to get a nice Walrus punch up. Nisha trying to duck away into the trees. That's where Quinn wants to go, though. BKB goes out, and Liquid are not able to catch anybody. Gaming Gladiators, really nice use of Blink Daggers there, especially Tofu.
Yeah, Nisha does not want to overextend here with the gem. Gaming are just trying to bait out that BKB and look for the re-engage. You have to keep in mind, Roshan has spawned, and this is number 2, so Shard, extra net worth on this objective. Duracho has some time to think about
what is going wrong.
Yeah, what he did, what has been done in this game.
They got to get a cleaner setup where these big tanky melee heroes, which they've got 3 of, are in front of the Lina. They've got to find a way to stop this Lina being surprised by Liquid's rotation.
That's what I'm saying. The fight setup has not been there for gaming. We have not seen a fight where the Timber and the Ace Primal Beast have been the front line for Duracho, and the fight has been structured in a way where Liquid have to punch through that to get to the Lina. They're just finding a core isolated, not taking these head-on 5-on-5s. I think that's the recipe here. If you're Liquid, I don't even think you necessarily worry about contesting Roshan, because outside of getting some massive RP, I feel like that fight is just not favored for you, because that structure can get set up here consistently from gaming.
Sure. Telekinesis back. Looks like Insania's hoodwink.
There was a hero there.
There was. Now there's not. And now it's a 4
tombstone.
versus 5. And now it's going to be a Roshan for Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, this is not a contest in my mind. We'll see.
Okay, never mind.
In their mind, maybe it is, but again, this is going to die really fast.
Yeah, Gaming Gladiators, they're not, well, maybe they are.
Try and play it safe. Duracho's still going to man up. You have to be worried about a clumped RP here.
Smoke back into them, going to be able to break the initiation. Zai is not able to do anything. He has to skewer backwards, in fact. They are going to be able to catch Tofu on the side. Ace immediately blinks forward and grabs Mickey. But Mickey gets off the BKB and a 3-man RP. How much damage can they put out there trying to finish off Duracho? But he still has plenty of HP to be able to work with. Really nice. Oh, nice bushwhack there as well. On top of the smoke screen. That allows Tanisha to be able to disengage, and Mickey dies as well without Duracho involved in that. Gaming Gladiators, it seems like their cores are just too powerful now. Nisha, Blink is up, and he will be able to get away from the Lina, it seems.
Oh, Zai had the dream RP there on 3, but there's just not enough follow-up.
No.
There is no big Sven or something in this lineup that's just going to cleave through you and abuse it. You have Mickey hitting him, but the tank ability on this lineup is significant. Between the early Shivas on Timbersaw with his natural armor, even a Blaster going on top of him, you have this Primal Beast who has Vanguard, and maybe you get an Uproar off in the middle of these fights. It's just way too tanky. Overgrowth comes out after the end to seal their fate, and of course, once your BKB is out on this Furion, he did not have a Satanic for that fight, so he cannot take the super long engagement, but you got to give it to Zai here. He gets zoned by Quinn early and manages to re-engage, gives his life for the Horde.
They were targeting the Primal Beast initially, and they got him down to about half health and then switched targets on the Lina. Very awkward.
I mean, honestly, sometimes you have trouble clicking these heroes when they're that clumped.
That
might
is true.
Have not been intentional. And what is maybe perhaps more intentional is another gift from the gods. Double damage for Lina, as if this hero was not strong enough.
Oh, he's getting close to the tier 2 Zai.
You have to be careful about the displacement here.
Yeah, he was definitely thinking about a skewer, but without RP, it's pretty dangerous.
And again, Gaming are going to get greedy and show on this side lane. They showed Quinn bottom, they showed Ace there. Duracho will back up this time, but this is a lineup you have to be careful about who you're showing where and what potential gank you're giving up, because Ricky Furion will instantly take advantage of it. And the physical burst in terms of a single target is there. Maybe in an overall 5-on-5 where the heals and the force staffs and stuff can come out, you're not killing these heroes, but in an isolated scenario, you're going to get punched, and you're going to get punched hard.
Duracho, with his Aegis that he has now, will still get a second life in his BKB once that Aegis does expire. So I'll be surprised if Dyrachyo dies again in the next, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. Feels like there's just not enough damage in the tank, but then again, I've said that before, and he died immediately afterwards, so.
They have the damage. I mean, definitely not twice through Aegis, but
sure.
It can be hard for him to get the Satanic right clicks off because there is the BKB Pierce on this Liquid lineup, and that's why it's really nice for this hero. You press Satanic, you get punched, you get RP'd, you're just dead on this Lina. The single target burst is there. I mean, Mickey is hitting hard. You have to remember, Sphereon is still top net worth in this game. He's top net worth for a reason. Level 21, has his leash talent, but more importantly, he has break, and he has a lot of extra damage from this Silver Edge giving him the crit. Plus, he might be empowered in that fight. And remember, the best body in this game is that Nature's Prophet.
Oh, Insania! Oh, 4 staffed away. 4 staffs. Always nice against this Sleeping Dart, making sure that Zai can't get that skewer back into base.
And a big question here for gaming is, how do you want to end this game? Because going high ground is not very simple, right?
No.
Into the Magnus, into the Tuskar, you get pulled super deep. Suddenly that fight is very scary into buybacks. Meanwhile, Mickey can continually rat a lane. He doesn't have to sit in base necessarily. So you're not losing out here if you're Liquid. You're wearing out this Aegis timer. And if you're gaming, you kind of feel like you want to go high ground here. But at the same time, who's going to do it? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, it's like the Lina's really the only tower hitter, but she's also the perfect target for Liquid to go on when the Aegis expires. So if she's hitting the tower, that sets her up to get skewered backwards. And
Nisha going to get lifted.
Nice force staff to get him down from that one. Immediately pops a BKB, starts turning and doing some damage to the Timber Saw. And that'll force out a BKB, several BKBs of their own. Force staffs get him back up to the high ground, so that's going to be a waste for Ace. Oh, another nice shards. Gotta be careful of that stolen shard, though, that Tofu has.
Yeah, when you think you're locked in there with them, suddenly they're locked in here with you. And that's a shards, of course. As we also have jabs.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny little casting words today.
Too many for me. I'll let you handle it.
Okay. Well, with the gem again in the hands of Game and Gladiators, you're just going to see Celery hanging out on high grounds. He's got both the shard as well as a force staff, so he's going to be feeling pretty safe to scout any smoke rotations from Liquid. They are smoking, but they're smoking down mid and not into that triangle area. Let's see where they go from here. Are they going to invade, trying to find, Alina solo farming? Are they going to double back and try and catch that triangle from the other side?
I don't think you smoke triangle here. It's way too deadly just fighting into a structured lineup here for this Lina with Aegis. They just want to find the pick off. Maybe gaming's a little greedy. They show somewhere else when they're going to reset the map and you find that pick. That's what Liquid were looking for, but gaming not going to give it to him, and instead they are going to force this high ground. 20 seconds on Aegis. A little late to do it, but you're still in good shape. Zai is maybe going to look for the blink RP skewer when that timer is running out. 10 seconds here for Lina. He's going to get it.
For now. Oh, what a telekinesis timing! Stopping Zai from getting the skull away. Dyrachyo is going to be able to keep on going bushwhack. Okay, there's a little bit of damage, but that was not terribly enticing to jump on.
There's no buy for this bag. So you're happy to commit here if you're Dyrachyo. No more displacement for you. Tofu had my back. And you're about to lose your racks.
Backdoor protection is up.
Oh, these shards are so annoying.
Yeah, they really are. Fortunately, Bushwhack. Oh no, the telekinesis catching the Ricky. Jabs, forced.
He's
jumped
living.
over the side and does manage to blink strike backwards, but Dyrachyo wants the kill. Really fast, he dodged again, but Ace finally managed to finish him off, but he uses BKB. This is a time for Liquid to be able to go for the punish. They've caught Tofu, but a nice overgrowth from Celery on the side manages to get Nisha killed. Tofu survives. Everybody of Game and Gladiators is up, and they can finish off at least this one lane of barracks and maybe push for more.
Zai back up. You do have to be wary of the blink RP. Somehow Tofu lived through all that as well. Okay, you lost nothing here if you're gaming. And that could have been very scary if you get that blink skewer when that Aegis is running out. Zai read it perfectly, but Rubik, as we said, he has all the front line in the world. He can just sit there and spam click the ground, and there's not much to stop it. And yeah, Sleeping Dart stolen as well. Man, Zai's game is hard. You might just blink in a smoke screen. You might get lifted like that. You even have blink and force staff on this tree, and so even if you get that blink RP skewer, maybe Celery just blinks in and overgrowths you during BKB and you can't get the damage out.
And we saw this matchup in the TI finals, actually, right? The Rubik versus Magnus.
Yep.
And one of the things Collapse did in that second game was he changed the item build and went for the BKB. That way he could always kind of jump in. Problem is, Zai, he had to go utility in this game.
I don't know if he's getting BKB.
And he is far away from that BKB.
If you remember, the second thing Collapse did at Arlington was he asked for 5 Lincoln Spheres.
yeah.
RP on 2.
Okay, that's
Again,
really
you have
nice.
the
Looks like
damage.
the Dream Protector is probably going to die. Ace does have a BKB, but he may not be able to get it off in time. Walrus Punch goes up.
They're
Trouble
chain
hits him
stunning
as
him.
well. Chain stunned up.
Save.
Telekinesis gets him away. Jazz looks to finish him off, but the damage just not there from that support. Laguna Blade placed onto Jabs, but Liquid actually managing to retreat there with Ace being so low. Game and Gladiators didn't feel comfortable chasing.
They do not want to throw this game the way of Mickey Furion, and they are respecting the hell out of this Liquid lineup for the position they're in with 20k gold lead. Used a lot to kill a Treant, but you're happy to kill that Treant. There's the GAW meter.
See if it tops out. Of course it does. It's an electrifying atmosphere here in Lima.
And you know what they got off that kill too? They got another gem.
Oh, did
the
they?
second gem for gaming.
Oh, what?
Because this is Tofu's. The first one was Celery.
Oh, no.
So, very key kills here to remove that vision from the gaming lineup. They did have the other one, though.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's the second one, but I was wondering, okay, so where'd the first one go? They gave it back. So Celery got his gem back, but you got Tofu's. You know, you're going to exchange some vision here.
They did manage to walk away with a little something, which was Tofu has Sleeping Dart stolen, which is crazy powerful on Rubik because this cast range is out of control.
Oh, yeah, he is living life right now. He's even got Aeon Disc. Good luck jumping and killing this guy, right?
Yeah, I'd say less like a dart, more like a lawn dart. He's chucking that thing.
A ballistic missile. And now Gaming are the ones looking to get aggressive here. And I think Tofu, he can lead these fights because he has the Aeon, he has the Force. He doesn't have to play as patient and just play behind his course. You can start off with a lift. Save the Primal Beast a little counter initiation here. Ace did get the AC earlier, so you have the AC and you have Shiva's up for this gaming lineup on top of all the natural tankiness they have. It's a lot to punch through, and that's why every time we see these big RPs, yeah, they look great. They look flashy. Zai has been hitting them. Honestly, 10 out of 10 mag performance for the position he's in this game and how hard it's been. But getting a big RP does not just auto-win you these fights.
Nope.
You need the damage to come out, and even then, Mickey goes back for Satanic. I think you have to go Satanic on Fury on this game to be able to stand your ground. But so much of the damage pressure is on this Furion because, sure, Nisha has a lot of single target, but he's not cleaning up these AoE engagements.
Yeah, what is Nisha's plan here? He's got 4,600 gold. He has Aghanim Scepter queued up, could buy it, but he would lose out on his buyback. The other option is going an AC himself. Which option do you like more?
I like Moonshard with the level 25 talent and just pray for the RNG punches.
Okay.
I mean, one way to kill a
That's an
hero.
option.
One way to kill a hero is you punch him 6 times in a row. I don't care who you are, you're going down. I like that option. That sounds pretty good. He's going to go Ags here, and I don't blame him because the better you make that high ground defense, that is the one area gaming can throw in.
Yeah.
And again, you're always going to be able to pick up some net worth between this Furion. At some point, that ticket runs out, though, because Mickey will get 6 slot in this game. He's honestly pretty close. He's thinking about Nullifier to remove some of this Force Staff utility. But after that, you get Moonshard. Okay, you have Empower to buff up your damage. He's hitting really hard. I wouldn't mind some late game Daedalus from him or Scotty or just something to abuse this Empower even more. High ground ward hold from Liquid.
Team Liquid is in a very interesting position.
They can skewer this Lina out of the pit. It's very far. Zaya's Aether Lens. He might just go blind. They're going to send Treants in to try and scout. I think he's just jumping this at some point.
The Shard goes out, gets a little vision. Gaming Gladiators.
And Quinn trying to prevent this initiation.
The side catching Mickey. They're going to be able to pull him back in with the telekinesis. Trying to force out from away. The Satanic going up, but it's not enough. The RP comes a little too late. And Team Liquid are too weak to contest this Roshan. They're going to lose Nisha on the side. This could be an entirely team wipe as Zai is trying to get away with the gem right now. Blink away. Okay.
Quinn
How far is he going to be able to skewer? TP out. And barely gets it. Woo.
At least you save something out of that fight, but you're losing your big 2 damage cores. You're losing Roshan here. There's an Ags on this as well. I mean, take your pick, but my pick is Quinn. Give it to this Timber. That was a huge hex there by him, right? he just timber chains in. He's not afraid of anything. There's no way Liquid want to go on this Timbersaw first. You get the Hex on Furion, just wins you a fight. Are they actually going to give it to Celery here?
No, they're giving it to Quinn because Quinn got a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, and now this Timbersaw is the highest net worth in the game. He is the scariest hero. He's had a monumental performance here. I can't help but feel like Liquid gave this Timbersaw, gave it to him in some aspects, but whenever you get a free game like this, you still have to deliver, and he has delivered.
Ooh.
As Deraccio going to deliver Insania back to the fountain.
You know, this is what I love about watching the Gaming Gladiators play, is that, yeah, they slipped up in the mid-game and stuff, but when they start getting some momentum, I think they're super fast at playing, and that's a great example, right? They just ran up the high ground. You know, see if we can find anybody while they're still dead. You know, who cares about the tier 3? Not like it's going to be too much damage.
They're playing incredibly decisive here.
Yeah.
That's what wins these major finals.
Walrus kick is up. They're going to need a big opportunity. A kick back to the fountain, just barely in range, though. Quinn is going to be able to survive for now. An instant buyback from Zai. He needs a beautiful skewer here. Let's see what he can get. He got lifted. The telekinesis stops him. A beautiful grab from Tofu. They still managed to get another kickback on Ace. They're keeping him around here. The overgrowth trying to let him reset, trying to get away. Are they actually going to be able to get out?
Tofu getting him out of the fountain territory.
Amazing performance, but Deraccio just fighting in the middle of this. Now it's going to be kicked into the fountain. Deraccio, what are you doing?
The kickback on Mickey.
Satanic is keeping him alive. He is fighting against Team Liquid. And the fountain, are you kidding me?
This man has 0 fucks to give at this point in the tournament. He's proving everybody wrong, and the fountain is not enough to kill him. What is it going to be?
Get out of my game. This is my house.
Gaming already to win this tournament right now. And yeah, you feel for Liquid with the stand-in, but they proved earlier they can win tournament. They can win matches this deep in the tournament. They can still be a scary team. You shut that Furion down super hard in that game. And that has been one of Liquid's go-to tools for this tournament. Where do you go if you want to pick this Furion again? What do you ban?
Yeah.
You saw the bans in the second phase. There was Underlord. There was Tidehunter. They're afraid of a lot of ace heroes for this hero. You still get the Primal Beast. You still get the Timbersaw. 2 ace heroes you could have played versus the Furion. One of them ends up on Quinn, who ends up, I mean, what is he in this game? 12-1-12 with all the runes. The axe from Roche ends at highest net worth. Clutch Hex on Mickey on that Roche fight that just removes all comeback potential. These guys are feeling it, and they are feeling it good. They have not lost a single game on this main stage.
Incredible performance by them so far. And what a way to be able to set up this best-of-5 series by breaking the Nature's Prophet. That was Team Liquid's #1 go-to hero. They did something that Talon did not come close to doing.
No, it did not look close for them. And in this game, it did not look close for Mickey. Sure, you get this late-game raid boss, but you have to trade it for the other late-game raid boss, the Lina. And Deraccio, I'll fight 5 heroes. I'll fight a fountain. I'll fight whatever you want me to fight. I don't care. I don't care anymore. He is in mode zone.
Now, it felt like a pretty big takeaway of that game was that Gaming Gladiators got very far ahead very quickly.
Yes, that early game was a very one-sided affair, and that's what you have to address.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, like, you've got to be able to address those lanes better, right? I mean, the Timbersaw was a killer pick. They had a free lane for Lina, Primal Beast against Nature's Prophet. You just cannot give this team, Gaming Gladiators, who we said have been super decisive. They have been playing with momentum really well. Don't give them a clean landing phase like that.
No. And the problem is Liquid feel locked in to play this carry Furion because it's been their Lina answer.
Yeah.
But when you pick this Furion and it's getting counterpicked and counterpicked, multiple lanes are going to be hard for you to throw them into. I feel like then you have to just deprioritize this farm party, put him on the 3, play the Ags, Gleipnir Furion we've seen from them. Zai was one of the first guys to start doing that, right?
Yeah.
They're very comfortable doing that. But again, then it's a question of, do you want to lane the Furion into the Lina? It can go both ways in this game. And also, are you comfortable scaling in that type of game? Do you need more BKB Pierce? They felt like they did with the Magnus, but now Mickey's early game is just, it's rough. It's really rough.
All right, well, this game of chess that continues in this best-of-5. We're going to talk a lot about the draft. We're going to talk a lot about that game, and for that, we have our wonderful panel.
Thank you very much, Cap and SVG. Indeed, we're here to break it down and prepare ourselves for the second game in his best-of-5 grand finals of the Lima Major. I'm joined by Sheep Fear and Tsunami, and this game ends with Deraccio in the fountain, and you think, oh, you know, he's gonna die or maybe burn the age. No, he just stands there.
You ever heard of fountain farming from your own fountain? I'm out there in the Radiant base. I don't care about the stacking attacks. He knows he was gigantic in this game. Doesn't matter how many walrus kicks you get, which was kind of Team Liquid's idea. We saw in the group stage Liquid's approach. They were the first to break Lina, I suppose, and it was jumping on her. There was a lot of heroes that could do that in this game, and yet the problem is, if you lose the lanes that hard, it doesn't matter how good your strategy is. It's an uphill battle the entire way.
Yeah, I mean, we actually saw a lot of like the Magnus and Tusk early on in the DPC just to reposition Lina and get the kills on them, which, you know, had some success. And then you have the Nature's Prophet, which is supposed to be the counter to the Lina. But I think that works best if you lane the NP against the Lina, which they didn't really do in this particular game. But I think they had a whole host of problems. One of them, the biggest problem, Quinn. You didn't address him. He's playing the Timber Saw. He's in a game, in a matchup where he is playing against so many strength heroes. He's playing against a Hoodwink. He's playing against a Ricky. You can't kill this guy. And like, he got to the point where they had serious damage problems in this game. And we won't even get started on the last pick at Gaming Gladiators. They got the last pick Primal Beast. This answer, going for the Vanguard Rush against the NP, has worked time and time again. And they were able to last pick it. And I think this NP kind of got exposed a little bit because they didn't want to put it on Zai this game.
I do feel like it's hard because their damage was all sort of one instance. It was physical. Like they had very little magical burst. So you look at not only this Vanguard that Ace went, he also went Assault Cuirass. He also went Wraith Pact. And I'm sure he would have gone for like that Crimson Guard potentially going forward because they understood they can just nullify this physical damage and their fights are fine. Because Liquid understood this as well to an extent. They were not taking... they weren't taking full team fights. They were very much just going for these pickoffs, bringing numbers to make sure they could do it. Like it feels bad when you have to commit 4 to 5 heroes to kill a single hero. And when they did a team fight, that's when they got super exposed. Like you said, they're just getting like split apart by this Primal Blink BKB. They're getting split apart by Quinn. And as soon as a hero sticks on them, they just can't like group up and do damage, and they can't kill 5 heroes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one moment that Liquid had in this game where they kind of brought it back was some of these fights we're seeing on the screen right now. It's like Liquid, they grouped up as 5 heroes, went to the mid lane, tried to take anything they could. They found Ace twice there. This was a duration where Quinn had an Aegis for full duration. He did not show up to these fights. He was split pushing, but it was really good to Liquid to realize that we need to do this. And then there were some slight mistakes here where Quinn's out. And at this point, I was kind of like, maybe Liquid can do it. They're coming back a little bit here, but I think Gaming Gladiators draft was just way too strong. They're just way too far ahead that it just wasn't enough.
I do see promise in the strategy that Liquid went for, though. I think if the lanes went slightly better, then we will see this Lina getting heavily repositioned, because you're seeing how easily she can get caught out in all of these fights. The idea is sound, and also I would like to give some credit to Jabs. Yet again, I am continuously impressed by him being on this Ricky and not looking totally out of sorts, because he's playing it like a proper 4. He's finding pick-off targets. He's allowing NP to come in as a follow-up. He's getting the smoke clouds for the skewer to go into. Maybe that's a bit patronizing to be like, oh, look at this cutie. Look at him trying to play in a grand final. Oh, he hit the smoke. But no, it's like legitimately good.
It has been legitimately good. And we did see the idea coming to fruition a little bit during this game, because Team Liquid, yes, they lost the laning stage quite hard, and they were able to make that comeback. So the plan, you know, it was there. It's just, if only they didn't lose the lanes that hard, Fear.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think one part of, like, not only just winning the lanes, I will go back to the point of, you know, Quinn undefeated versus Nisha mid in the last couple of days here, but also I really like the build that he did this game. He only went 2 points in the armor just to sustain the lane. After that, he just maxed his nukes, ran around from every single side lane, getting kills, so that was a great adjustment that he made there.
I also think it's very important to highlight the fact that Liquid had no building damage outside of Nature's Prophet as a hero, but even then it's not like exactly the most damage. You're playing into a Treant Protector. I watched this man sit top on that safe lane tower for over 15 minutes straight. And I want to point out, they didn't take a tier 1 tower on Liquid, I think, until around 25 minutes. So their warding this game had to be really defensive on like their side of the map and their jungle. Meanwhile, Gaimin are getting to do whatever they want. They had a ward that they put in Liquid's triangle on the cliff, which stayed there for the entire duration. They got a kill on Mickey, and they still didn't deward it. So I think Gaimin felt way freer with the vision that they were playing on this game, and Liquid, meanwhile, were just suffering.
Yeah, we also did see the Roshans. Almost every single Roshan went the way of Gaming Gladiators, and they were able to go high ground with them. As we watched the comparison between Jams and Tofu, of
What
course.
is
Jams is
106 kill participation? How do you participate
He's
in more
playing
than
Ricky.
100% of the kills?
It's
he's just that good.
He's just that good. He's built different.
No, I gotta describe this. This upsets me. I have to tell everyone.
Explain.
Okay.
Ricky has a bug where if you put your smoke screen down and your allies die in it, it counts as an assist.
Really?
So whenever people go, "Oh, Ricky was like 1-4 and 18," no, he was probably like 1-4 and 2, and he just all of his teammates just accomplished it.
That's
Very
very
interesting.
sad.
I guess I
Yeah.
could talk about this matchup if you want a little
Yes,
bit.
please.
All right, Tofu. We saw at the very end there the steals he could get. He got a snowball save on Diracho. They got the kickback onto the Tusk later on. Of course, Diracho was so farmed, he was just like killing them all in the fountain with the Satanic. But still, he had some really good saves this game. I think for Jabs here, his hero pool is going to be good, but also slightly a liability. Because like he is wanting to play this Ricky, but this hero is inherently, and it's not his fault, a weak laner. Like it takes him a while to get online, get the farm. You're playing versus Gaming Gladiators, who's really known as a super strong laning team, especially the Tofu and Ace lane has been running havoc here. So it's a bit of something that Liquid are going to have to like come across. Like he's good on the Ricky, but they might have to lose the early game for it. But you can't lose the early game that hard against a team like Gaming Gladiators.
Well, there's a reason they're in the grand finals. You can't you got to show up on all cylinders. You can't just like, let's ditch that one lane. No, you got to do well in all the lanes. And I do want to talk a little bit more about the supports because not only did Tofu play amazing, I also want to highlight Celery here. He was playing his Tree and Protector, which way back, when Tree and Protector was not a popular pick, he was still picking Tree and Protector and Enchantress. Those are the two heroes, together with Bane, that he reached as high MMR on that he has, only playing support heroes, which he was the first one to 10k at some point. So very impressive, Tsunami, and we saw him here do it on the main stage.
Enjoy it while he still can. In about 24 hours, I think Trade's going to be turned into mulch.
He
I'm sick of
still
this
will
hero.
play it.
That's true, actually. He still will play it no matter what. He's ride or die with this hero. And it's no surprise that if a patch favors your style, if a patch favors your heroes, you're going to succeed in the tournament. Which, same thing with Diracio, his Lina. Eventually, Liquid experimented with the other two. Please don't let Gaimin get these heroes in their upper bracket final.
This guy's talking about Lina. Kick him off the panel.
No, I was going to talk about Leshrac Io, and then I was going to talk about Broodmother, and now you have to talk about Lina. Which one? Which one are you letting go through?
That's true.
You do have to talk about the Lina because he has gotten Lina more than any other player in this tournament.
Yeah.
And it's not because his Lina's bad. It's just because everyone else plays things that are so good, like the Leshrac, like the Brood you talked about, like the Treants. He just kind of gets it for free every game, which is nice to have.
They're very much in a luxury position with the drafting.
Having good teammates helps.
You don't say. That's my problem, by the way.
Of course.
Having good teammates, but I have great teammates here. As I do want to talk a little bit about not necessarily Lina, but about the Rat Show together with Tofu and Celery. This is their first time on the big stage in the grand finals, and I was wondering maybe there were going to be a little bit of nerves, but I think, you know what? The entire tournament, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the cameras, Diracho, when he walks to the booth, and when he sits down, he's pretty, you can tell he's in the zone.
Need I remind you, they have a player on their team who formerly went by the name of Cool, Calm, and Collected.
Yes.
Doesn't surprise me
Yes,
in the
he does.
slightest that he's able to carry that energy to this roster.
No, and we saw Diracho on camera once he stood in the fountain, able to just kill everybody while getting hit by the fountain and turn it around. And he smiled.
Of course. I'd be
Yes.
smiling too if I was rampaging from
I
the enemy
know.
fountain.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably even me too, as rare as that is.
Like, Diracho is very aware of himself, and I think his improvement has shown very heavily throughout this tournament. And just like over the DPC, people would usually criticize him. Oh, he's feeding. Oh, he's out of position. But honestly, I think he's just playing to help his teammates, because you're playing with Ace and you're playing with Quinn. Both of these players can be very greedy, and it's nice that he can not only play as the win condition, like on Alina, but he also is okay to play in the more dangerous parts of the map. Like he said it himself. He has to take the hard farm sometimes. He doesn't worry about his deaths as long as he knows that they're getting good things out of it. He's not afraid, and it's like you just move past these things, and he's a calm, and as a result, you see it in his face, you see it in his plays. The man just feels comfortable playing any sort of Dota.
I mean, I think that's just a part of playing carry nowadays. You have to take a bit more risk. You do sometimes have to be less greedy. Hearing Quinn being a greedy player in the same sentence is kind of weird, but sometimes in the mid lane, you have to be greedy now. So every lane has adapted to their own way, and he's fit in perfectly. The whole team, I feel like they're just incredibly good at what they do and playing their role.
Yeah, and if you're being compared against players who are so rock solid like Quinn and Ace, someone has to be the most unreliable player, but that's in huge air quotes.
Yeah.
Dyrachyo is not unreliable. It's just compared to his superstar teammates, it's kind of hard not to get that impression.
It's not even necessarily unreliable. He just has to be able to play so many different styles.
Yeah.
And he does it, as we just saw on the Lina. And it's also the reason why we see him on the Lina frequently, because, again, you need to ban a lot of heroes. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because, of course, we're preparing for game number 2. And, pick your poison again. Sheep, where are you going to change?
Well, I have no idea what. I think it's really hard for them to change, but I think it's more important that you can see that their gameplay is not infallible. Like the chain feeding that Gaimin was doing in the middle game, I think as well. Like they set up nicely for it. They were quite aware on Liquid. Jabs TPing bot instantly when they know that Aegis had expired and catching quite unawares. I think maybe the draft, as long as they get their comfort on Liquid, I think they can do well.
You wouldn't consider this being their comfort, because we saw the Nature's Prophet Rikile, they did well this morning when they were up against Talon. That was part of the lineup that they won one of the games with.
I mean, you want me to go? You got
Sure.
this.
Well, I can start. I think that at least the Talon games, their offlane didn't feel as threatened, whereas there was a lot more kill pressure on the side of Gaimin this time. You're putting a Primal Beast there that can easily get on top of your Lina with a weak support like Ricky. You're not getting given the free lane.
I mean, I think they should do some comfort for the most part, but I do want to see Nisha play something more explosive than a Tusk. I think he really needs to show up this series. Mickey's been playing really well overall, but I want Nisha. He needs to add a little bit of extra flair to this team. Maybe Zai plays a little selfless. You've got Jabs on your team now. You have Insania. These guys can be the support cast.
You mentioned the Treant Protector, Shaver, but this has also been Insania's most played hero throughout this tournament. And so having to put him on 4 and Jabs being the new 5, it's possible that with the full roster, Treant Protector would be the most hotly contested hero, because we're seeing some teams that are like, we're going to play a game of chicken with the cores. Is Lina or NP going to show out, or am I going to take the Undying or the Treant Protector? And so I think maybe, I guess Blitz specifically, but also Team Liquid in general, might try an approach of focusing less on the cores and maybe making the supports a little bit more constructive.
Yeah, you're right with focusing on Blitz for the draft. Actually, an interesting piece of information I found when it comes to the Team Liquid drafting style. Of course, we already talked about that it's Zai and Blitz together. They're doing the draft, but they have a very interesting way of having the draft divided, where Blitz will be focused on the first phase bans. Then Zai gets to choose the 2 heroes, and they have a very back and forth style where both Blitz and Zai are focusing on very specific parts of the draft, which I hadn't heard about that until I got told it by Blitz.
I mean, what are they, twins? Can they do they have some
Wonder Twin powers activate.
I mean, do they have
pick
some
Lina.
link in their
they do
minds? Where it's
communicate a lot.
I mean, it's kind of strange. I mean, I've never heard of anything like that before. It's really interesting because you do the bans, and normally when you do the bans, they're setting up your picks, but you're like, I did the bans, all right, just pick now, and then he kind of knows what they want to pick just through just playing so long with him, understanding, talking, and then going to the next phase. Blitz is just like, I got this again.
Yeah, they have, from what I've heard, they have spent hours upon hours upon hours.
A system, then.
Getting to the same page, or at least, an understanding of the style of Dota, and, just being understanding of what the other is trying to accomplish. And when they're in the booth, they do talk. It's not like, okay, I'm done, your turn.
Job's done.
Yeah.
They established that dynamic starting with Matumba Man. It was all the way back at the most recent TI that Insania had recently abandoned the role of drafting, and Blitz was like, how am I going to learn this? And apparently he and Matu just grinded drafts over and over again, and the system that they established is one that they swear by, is one consistently brought them success in every other series until maybe the second to last one, because they won the last one.
So I get this straight. Blitz is basically doing the bans.
Not all of them.
But
so
most of them, right.
So I didn't want to pry too much, because I do want to keep give
kind
the
of investigative journalism is this?
well, not really too well. That's why I'm not a journalist. Okay. No, I know Blitz is doing the first phase bans, and I know Zai is doing the first couple of picks, and then I know that Blitz is in charge of one particular player's hero, and I don't necessarily where that comes in the draft, but he'll try to fit that in and say that that's the way to go.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense indeed. We are very close to going into the draft of game number 2. We got about 20 seconds left. Sheep, final words. What would you say to Team Liquid?
Pick a more balanced draft. Get different types of damage, and then do your thing.
Do your thing, different types of damage. Fair.
Don't pick Mag in the Timber.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a simple concept. Tsunami.
Focus the Treant Protector. Hot take. Treant Protector #1. Let's go.
All right, will we get that Treant Protector as a hot take, or will we just get Nature's Prophet, who kind of also works with trees? You know, there's that. Nature all the way. We're finding out. It's time for the draft of game number 2.
Welcome one and all to the draft panel for game number 2 here at the Lima Major Grand Finals. Gaming Gladiators versus Team Liquid. Gaming Gladiators have broken the Nature's Prophet win streak. Eventually it had to lose, no longer a 100% win rates. But the interesting thing about this purge is how they made it happen. They used this Primal Beast. It's the first Ace Primal Beast of the tournament, the 4th of his entire career. The fact that they can draw out such strategies this deep into the tournament makes me worry a little bit about Liquid going into the second draft.
Take the Nature's Prophet that they're doing so well with, and now they're going to have to switch it up a bit. I think this is a good place to start. Having Treant against Lina is fantastic. It helps offset that insane physical damage advantage that Lina has. We saw her in the fountain out DPSing heroes. So slapping 12 armor on a hero, it really makes a big difference. Being able to overgrowth her after she uses BKB shuts down her offense for a couple seconds, which is really valuable. And Batrider's going to be able to dominate the map as well. So I think this is a good way for Liquid to react.
We saw this ban coming in from them in the first game. Liquid chose not to play against the Batrider. They actually gave Gaming Gladiators the option of playing Lina or the Broodmother. Here they pick it up for themselves. This does mean a lot of early movement from Nisha in the mid lane. Unless it's not an off-lane bat, is it, Lacoste?
Doesn't look like it. Most likely it's going to be played from the mid lane. I'm just wondering, you know, I've been theory crafting some of these heroes like Leshrac, Batriders. I thought we're going to see Oracle. I thought we're going to see potentially Nyx Assassin being brought, because these are kind of like forgotten heroes. They're niche heroes for certain teams. Team Liquid does play it, and I feel like we might see one of those two heroes pop up, especially against the Batriders. Some kind of a dispel mechanic, like even going back to, I would say, like something like a Baton could really work out. It's great against both of these heroes. Sometimes you need to dig deep, like go back in time, go back in Dota time, you know, sometimes back in 2010, 2012. That doesn't mean when sometimes those picks are still very viable considering what they are doing. We had talent changes, we had, you know, some different stuff added, but in theory, here we go. Like, this is
it's a great
thing.
counter.
Yeah.
Ulting the Batrider, already a huge counter. Stops you from moving for 3 to 6 seconds or whatever the heck it is. It's a huge amount of disability that's going to stop Batrider from just chasing people down and kind of doing this poke thing where you're always threatening, doing a huge amount of damage. And then once you get Shard, there's no stacks that are getting built up. So Shadow Demon has been quite effective against Batrider in other matches already. And it has the double benefit of it breaking tree armor too. So it's actually an insane Shadow Demon pick because it already counters both the Team Liquid's heroes.
And also later on, like if you are playing these drawn out fights, BKBs are down, one disruption, offensive one, is set up for your LSA. So once you get out, the illusions of the carry plus Lina with LSA, with the stun and her insane attack speed, could finish off the work.
Like what I'm seeing already from Gaming Gladiators. Clearly not very upset about having to deal with Treant Protector on the other side, especially considering that Liquid, there was a point where they were also undefeated on this Treant Protector. Obviously that did end eventually, but nonetheless they've looked very good on it. And it was Gaming Gladiators that broke them from the Treant Protector strat. So
there are a couple of heroes I'm looking at ban when we're playing against the Batrider. There is Queen of Pain, Puck, there is Slark from the mid lane, and also Pango. These 4 heroes work really well in the mid lane from Batrider, so I assume Team Liquid will ban 3 of those that I mentioned.
I don't trust the Slark just yet. We did see it by another team, and it was
Yeah, I mean, there a couple years ago, I remember when Nigma played it a couple times mid, but that was like Miracle at his
Good
peak,
memory purge.
beating Batrider mid. It worked really good for like a couple weeks. So, but these days, not quite the same. Doesn't have enough side lane pressure impact without the defusal plus Ags type territory, so it takes a little bit too much net worth for it to work, even if the lane is good.
Intriguing that these bans here, they are on the side of Team Liquid, considering that at least for now, that Nisha is good enough to be able to survive a lot of the bevy of bad lanes. They'll pick one to still ban in the next phase here, but the fact that they remove the Undying, they are really scared of giving Jiracho any kind of backup from Celery. And Celery's hero pool has not been the widest here at the tournament.
I think it also comes down to these two heroes not being able to deal with the Tombstone.
Yeah.
So you have literally nothing. It's also a comfort pick. But looking at the bans from Gaming Gladiators, they're heavily protecting this Lina. Like all three bans heavily targeted. Lina does not like to play into these heroes, even though I think Ursa could have been left in the pool considering you're playing into Shadow Demon, but Shadow Demon can't use ulti on everybody until he gets Ags, which is a pretty tough matchup for Ursa to play into.
I assume they're also protecting some like tanky, semi-passive offlaner as well. Those are the heroes that Slark and Ursa usually counter, so some Tide type hero, Liquid's going to ban it. Maybe an Underlord, something like that.
And again, Team Liquid with repositioning tools. Last game against Lina, they had Magnus. This time it's going to be Tiny, which I think is slightly better coming out from position 4. Like you don't really care too much if you're dying. You also build into Force Staff later on, so you can get out of the trouble. So a lot of repositioning tools, a lot of heroes that can stall the game on side of Liquid, and this is going to be the Pango, one of I'd say Quinn's better heroes overall. You know that his hero pool's not the biggest. He managed to bang out Timbersaw in the previous game, which was kind of a new one, I would say, but still, this Pango is a menace.
I wonder if we're going to see if Team Liquid's available to flex the Tiny to support, is what I'm wondering about Jabs. Because if this is Boxy here, obviously it's a total possibility, and Tiny's had tons of success as a 4 position. I could even see them picking like a Bloodseeker for their last pick, very commonly banned in the second phase, if somebody opens with Tiny. But if they can make it work with their player combo, I'd really like that, because Bloodseeker's going to be amazing against Pango as well. Obviously, Shadow Demon can be a little problematic, and Lena's totally happy. It's just, oh, stand still. Oh, all right, no big deal. I'll stand still and kill you anyways.
Might destroy their lanes, because then you would have like what, mid Tiny, you would have a Batrider on the off lane, and some other carry.
Why not Tiny 4, Tree 5, Bat mid? Is what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Seems likely. I mean, Mickey has played this Tiny in the past as well here at this tournament. There's a non-zero chance he could end up going for that particular route. And it's still an open question as to where this Tiny actually goes. Well, not Tiny, the Treant Protector actually goes this game. Given that Jabs being reintroduced into the team, I suppose you don't want to give him... The Tiny 4 is a lot of responsibility. We've seen on the side of Talon that when it's played incredibly well, it can almost single-handedly win you the game, but it can be lackluster if not given the maximum impact. But looks like they are going to consign either Jabs or Insania to playing this Tiny as they pick up now the Sniper.
Great Sniper game. In terms of Pango, his entrance to the game could be a bit more difficult, playing into Batrider's Lasso, BKB piercing ability. Same goes for Overgrowth, and then you have Sniper, who's going to keep the distance. None of these heroes love to close the gap other than Pango, so he needs something from the offlane, something that can play with him. Some kind of vision hero. I'm again looking for potentially a Beastmaster, BKB piercing ability on their side. Even Centaur, Ace's Centaur has been pretty amazing. Like whenever he played, like even in the previous game, Ace completely dominated. He had a good matchup. He played against Nature's Prophet, but his itemization getting on early Vanguard and then completely dominating the game from there was pretty top notch. And speaking of Primal Beast,
Yeah, it's scary. You don't want these gap close heroes. I really do like the Sniper, though. These two supports at max range are not going to like dealing with Sniper. If they can get close enough to even cast their spells, it's not necessarily going to protect you enough either way. So it feels like if Liquid gets a jump with these current setups, Sniper's going to do way too much damage. The only person he might have some trouble with is Lina, but Liquid has defeated Lina lineups with Sniper in the past.
To make matters even worse, we have this backup of the tree, right? And we've seen what this Treant Protector does when you have this squishy range hero. Squishiness is no longer the problem for the Sniper in this game. So what do we still need here? Gaming Gladiators, they will have themselves a 23rd pick, and Liquid has the opportunity to respond on 24. Lacoste, what are you seeing that's missing from Gaming Gladiators? What does Dyraicho... I mean, Dyraicho's probably going to play the Lina, so we still need a hero for Ace. What does Ace need to do in this game, and how does he accomplish it with the heroes that are left in the pool?
I think he might just be the aura builder in this game. From like either Centaur and I mentioned Beastmaster, I think those two could work out pretty good if you want to have like just the whole team running at Sniper and they ban out Centaur. So not too many options left. I think if they had a position 4 who's melee, Darkseer would have been an option, but this time around it isn't.
Yeah, the downside of picking the Shadow Demon, really. It's kind of like that same Disruptor trap where, like, it feels like such a good support for the game, but it does limit your options a bit in aggressiveness. So they're going to need something instead.
I'm just going to say it. It could be Doom also. It's a bit of on a greedier side, but you know that it's going to come down to Sniper versus Lina matchup, and if you Doom Sniper, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. They do have some repositioning tools, reset with the toss, with Overgrowth, the defensive one. And on side of Liquid, I wouldn't mind seeing something like Lycan, because both supports, they really don't deal well with Lycan summons.
Just like Rush Down. Actually, Lycan, we've seen into some of these squishy range heroes purge that Lycan Rubik has been an option presented there as well. Is there any hope of them going for the Zoo at the end of the draw for GG?
For the GG side, Zoo would be okay in that it usually runs down your opponent a bit, but if it's not Lycan, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan, but this can work if you have Vision and you're able to go in first with a Roar followed up with a Pango Roll. So this is definitely pretty decent.
So let's see, for Team Liquid, probably going to be the Nisha Batrider. The hero hasn't seemed nearly as strong in the offlane, and I don't really want to see it up against a Lina either. So what is in the pool for our boy Zai here? He can't play his Enigma, his Snapfire's gone, can't play Tide, cannot play Centaur, cannot play Primal Beast, can't play the Brood either, so Zoo potential from a Lycan or a Visage, or is there any other aura builder that makes sense here? Underlord perhaps, but I don't know.
I'm just seeing Lycan. I'm liking it a lot, I would say. It just feels very natural. Okay, so they're going to shift things around, it seems. Kunkka, hero, last time I checked, was sitting at 10% win rate.
Insania Tiny. It's going to be a 4 Tiny, it looks like. Jabs is playing the tree. Zai, it's an offlane Batrider. It is a mid Kunkka. Terrible win rate at this event.
Yep.
But still picked. I mean, the setup is pretty solid against these supports. They've got disruption to save from it. I mean, it allows you to jump on the Lina, which is good. And it's going to make them all really tanky and be even more frontline for Mickey. Like, they basically have 4 heroes that are ready to run in. Mickey's going to sit in the back peeping. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool, but the win rate is not encouraging.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid does have much better chances in this one. Still, it's Kunkka. I'm not really. It's not that oomph, effect that the hero has. I'm still looking to see Gaming Gladiators in terms of execution, how they're going to do it. Might struggle a little bit. Something that Purge mentioned is a lot of frontliners for this Sniper, so it might be a bit more difficult to close the gap, but I feel like Gaming Gladiators are going to do it in Game 2 again.
All right, before we get into the game itself, Purge, when you look at this Team Liquid draft, what do they need to do in order to ensure that they get this Game 2 victory?
Save Overgrowth for the right times. If they can interrupt Rolling Thunder and the BKB from Lina, that's a lot of the team fight already. So keep that separation, keep those heroes away from Sniper, allow Sniper to peep away with his high DPS and his high net worth after the laning stage goes well, and then they can definitely win fights and close the game out.
We'll see if Team Liquid has onboarded this kind of advice and will utilize their heavy sustain lineup in order to ride the momentum into victory, or if it's going to be GG going 2-0 up here in the Grand Finals. To find out, we send it over to our world-class casters. We have Cap and SVG for game number 2. Take it away, boys, and bring us more of the hype.
Well, we're going to do our best here, Snare, but currently, Gaming Gladiators sitting a score of 3-0 over Liquid. They've already won 1 best-of-5. Avery, it's not looking so good for them.
I mean, best of 5's a lose term, You still got a lot of games to play here. Anything can happen.
Yeah, okay.
Miracles happen in the darkest of times, Cap.
I
when
mean,
you think everything is lost, you have a stand-in. You pick the lowest win rate hero of the tournament.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's when you can strike back.
I like how your choice of optimism is just going deeper into despair, and then the smallest and littlest of light can seem really, really
sometimes
illuminating.
You go down so far that you break through the bottom, and then you're somehow back on top. Just
okay.
like that.
All right.
That's what Quinn did with me. So
that is true. And look where he is now.
Doing great. This game, you have a similar setup. Honestly, if the Liquids of the Fountain cannot quench this Lina, I don't know what will. But you're going to try round 2 at least here if you're Liquid. And that said, You don't have the Furion this time, but you do have the Dwarven Sniper. As I try and talk over this crowd.
It's pointless, Avery. You just got to give it up.
I did give it up. What I was going to say is, this sniper is like the poor man's Lina, but it's a question of how poor of a man's Lina this Dwarven Sniper is. I feel like it's comparing a Ferrari to a Ferrari with only 2 wheels. But you might get it across the finish line, You might get there.
Insania. Is he going to be giving up first blood here? He's going to come through the trees, but the shield crash did catch him, so he's going to be slowed down. The LSA, Duraccio is going to land a second one here, and that should be our first blood. They're going to give it over to Quinn for the first blood.
Why not? He's delivered with everything else this tournament.
I mean, he had a fantastic performance on that Timber Saw. Gaming Gladiators will manage to pick up 3 bounty runes on top of that.
Oh, God, it's already looking rough, Cap.
It really is. One thing we did talk about between the break, though, you and I, was the fact that draft-wise, it did not feel good for Liquid in Game 1, particularly the lanes.
That was a big problem.
Is that better in Game 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be better. I say that because the problem is Liquid's playing 2 supports on side lanes they've never played with, right? Insania is taking up this 4, and now Jab's just filling in for the team, so that side lane synergy is not there where I would normally expect them to maybe pull ahead. But that said, I think Sniper is very good versus Beast in lane. This is a pick we saw counter-picking the Beast in a lot of that European regional, so Midgate should be very comfortable up here. But again, it comes down to execution, and you gave away 3 runes and a first blood, so looking at these lanes, you're already going to be fighting uphill if you're Liquid. And you got to make the most of it, because if this Beast takes over the map, you're going to see a similar thing to Game 1, where Lina's just going to have all the space to farm, because Ace and Quinn are just going to run around the map, have all the vision to do it, join this hit squad together. The Shadow Demon allows them to frontline versus Batrider in those engagements. I would look for Tofu to pick up the Shard pretty early in this game for the cleanse. The Purge is also great versus the BKBs that Liquid want to pick up in terms of Kunkka and this Batrider. And then you always have this disruption save. So honestly, this Shadow Demon pick worked out really well in my opinion draft-wise. And Tofu was popping off Game 1. I expect a similar deliver in Game 2.
Yeah, he's had great performances all tournament long. Probably a little overlooked, honestly. This lane, man. I'm just looking at it with all the trees. This Train Protector is
very sad.
Very, very sad. Is things going a little bit better in mid lane? I mean, Nisha was having a hard time against Quinn last time around because Timbersaw versus the Tusk. This time around, Pango versus Kunkka. Surely Kunkka has got to be a lot more even, if not favored in this matchup, right?
Oh, he's going to do fine in the early ways for sure. That said, I still think this Pango here is just a stronger hero. His spells are just arguably better. He scales harder when you get the Ags, Basher, the late game with even the Shard. It's really hard to go on this hero, and he ends up going on your carry and just debilitating him in the fight. So even in this type of matchup, I'd still rather have the Pango, but maybe Nisha can pull some tricks out of the old Pirate hat and get going. Because if you get a good game on this Kunkka, then he can go and shut down the Beastmaster. He can give you the sustain in the fight where Sniper can stand his ground with the bow drum, right? Those aspects of the pick are really nice.
Oh, Jabs, he's got a lot of Shadow Poison stacks on him here. He's going to pop the stick.
Hit the 6th?
See if he can get a 6-stack in there, and still, it's a ton of damage. And even if he lives, right, it's going to feel pretty bad here. Nice toss back, though. Celery with a lot of charges here, too. And Celery, he's not going to be able to get away
7
quite like
higher than 6
Jabston.
cap.
That's true. That's
7
a good point.
is higher than 6, and at least you're striking back here. Sad it's not first blood, but you'll take it. The thing about the Shadow Demon on the lane is anytime you can force out those huge poison stacks, you basically run out of mana on the hero.
Okay.
And then you're kind of a dead hero on the lane for a little bit. Sure, you can double mango up here, but then that basically gives you one more kill attempt. So honestly, Jab surviving there, pretty big. Mickey is not going to feel much pressure here. He's going to take all this farm under tower. Ace does have a pretty good start because, of course, Beast versus Tree, and you can just cut all the trees with the axes, as we saw. Get a nice little half pull here with the Flag Bearer. So once again, Gaming very comfortable on all 3 lanes. 3 runes into the first blood, plus free farm for 3 cores. Once again, I can see this game snowballing pretty fast, and you're already weathering a bit of an early game storm here if you're Liquid.
Yeah, the way you would talk about Tuss as a mid laner, how he can kind of weather through any matchup because he just spams spells. I feel like Beastmaster kind of the same way. Now that everybody goes the Axis build early on, and when it comes to laning phase, even bad matchups seem kind of fine just because you just constantly throw out Axis for both CS and hero harassment.
The hero can get destroyed on lane, but you can also just stack Ancients for him. I feel like a lot of times we saw 33 play this Beast. You just stack the Ancients, even if the lane's kind of bad, you go there, you get recovered.
Right.
You can do the same thing for these Bat Riders. It's why I think we're seeing the progression of this offlane in that direction this tournament. Because if you just have a hero you're very confident with going in the mid game, and even if you get shut down, he'll still get there, then you just feel great.
And you get the flame break back with the avalanche as well. Dyrachyo is in some trouble. Now he does have an LSA, but it may not be up in time. Oh, he's barely getting away. Pops the stick, turns around, finishes offside. Now Insania can't do the damage either. Celery will actually walk away with both the last hits. You can see the smiles on Dyrachyo and Celery. They just outplayed one of the best duos in the game.
Dyrachyo, early boots with those wand charges, putting him to good use. And yeah, Jabs, he's having a rough lane up here. I feel for him. This is not an easy matchup, especially if you haven't played it in a while, which I'm guessing he hasn't.
Yeah.
Especially if you haven't played in a while in the grand final of a major, makes it a little more difficult. So you have to just power through this phase of your Liquid. Remember, they made some pretty damn good moves in that mid game last time from a rough position. So as long as you get out in this game a little better than last game, I don't think the steamroll you between Primal Beast and Timber is going to get matched here between Pango and Beast. At least in theory, you have a bit more breathing room, especially with this Kunkka. This pick can stop a lot of early aggression.
Quinn's got his level 6. They were setting up for it. The disruption into the Rolling Thunder. Hits him once. See if he can hit him a third time here with the shield crash and the swashbuckle. That should be enough damage. The Fairy Fire cannot save it.
Man, Quinn's just been outplaying Nisha in these one-on-ones. Setting the moves up for his team. At least you get that rebuttal. Not a bad move by Insania here. Maybe studied Boxy's replays to play this Tiny. As that does mean Zai gets sacrificed in his offlane. And of course, you have Lina, who can just go early Maelstrom here. Always a scary sight. And Gaming are right back to their MO with the early triangle stacking. No blocks for you this time off that Ricky. You're going to have to do it the hard way. Either invade it or do some stacks of your own. But Insania, he just got his boots out. He hasn't been able to match the sort of economy. And Beast can protect that triangle as well. So it's a question of who takes the stacks here for Gaming. Maybe they all want it.
Yeah, they got a lot of heroes that can't take it, that's for certain. 2,000 net worth lead already for Gaming Gladiators. And we saw from that top kill earlier, Insania is already kind of resorting to just roaming around. In fact, he's going to take the mid lane while Nisha is away. He's going to be playing a bit of jungle, perhaps an opportunity to gank top if it shows itself.
I mean, you say take mid. No one's taking mid right now versus Quinn. He has another Rolling Thunder up. Insania's going to block one of these stacks, scout a bit of it out. But this just feels bad for Nisha, man. He's just jungling a big camp with this Kunkka at this point in the game. It's not really ideal. It's
going to feel even worse if he dies to it, too. Shield Crash hits him first.
Steal
Tried to hit him with the X to stop the Rolling Thunder. Didn't go off in time. And now he is in the perfect position just to get Rolling Thundered over and over and over again. A toss over to the side. Managed to juke the last one. The swashbuckle isn't enough either. So they will survive on Nisha ever so barely.
Bodrum doing wonders there because you have all the poison stacks on you.
Yeah.
Shadow Demon pretty nice versus Kunkka as well. But Nisha dodges that last Rolling Thunder, saves his life. And now Quinn is trying to make up for it. We'll find that little support kill. So once again, Quinn is off to a very fast start here. It's been the name of the game the whole tournament, and he is not letting up. 3-0, highest net worth for his Pango. He is living life. Even a bottle refill. What a nice team.
Everything showing up for Quinn because he's been putting on some great performances. So might as well believe in him. Make rotations, secure power runes for him, give him bottle refills because he will pay it forward.
Yeah, he's paid it back every game. This is not a tournament where some of the performances have been hit or miss.
Yeah.
He has destroyed games on a lot of these heroes, and he plays a wide variety of them. Even that last game, 12-1.
They're going for Nisha again.
He's up very far.
The shield crash will slow him down a bit here. Now they don't have the Rolling Thunder, so Nisha should be fine, but that was very bold. And now it looks like he's gotten Jabs in an awkward position, trying to teleport to help out, but now he's just going to be chain stunned down. Quinn dominating already.
The crash on mid for the runes for the 6 and 8, the tri-lane. You have to be ready for these types of skirmishes because Quinn loves them. This guy, he loves to get the lane matchup. He loves to understand it better, gain an advantage, and then call his supports to help him. And this is why, because once you get snowballing, all his heroes are killers. And he just takes over the map. He's going to start picking you off. He's going to start contesting the runes, get in your jungle. They have the beast vision to do it. Before you know it, you haven't seen Dyrachyo in 20 minutes, and he's in your fountain farming you with Satanic, right?
Yeah, what do you think about the Lina? Them giving away that Lina again? Sure, there's a lot of heroes you need to stop Gaming Gladiators from getting. Zai. Lasso pull back into the tier 1 would have been nice, but instead he gets disrupted. They do manage to get the avalanche to stop the follow up there. Zai may still fall. Oh, the shadow poison was not quite enough. Man, Tofu's getting, I'm not going to say unlucky because it's just straight damage, but he's been so close to nabbing some kills, but just falls about 50 damage short every time.
Oh, they got
Quinn,
the toss.
mid-swashbuckle, toss away. That's pretty nice.
This should be a kill.
Yeah, with all the stuns coming in, do they have the damage to finish him off? The living armor's doing a lot, but he doesn't have any mana, so it's not like he could get away either. And Celery, yeah, it doesn't get spotted right away. Mickey is here.
Yeah, Mickey cannot stay cannot stay top versus Beastmaster any longer. At a certain point, those creeps become too strong, so he wants to trade towers down here. But again, you really want to convert on this if you're Liquid, because you got the big Pango kill on top of it.
Yeah.
Just found him in the trees. Nice little freebie.
They're not actually hitting the tower bottom. Maybe it would just take too long with living armor to deal with.
Maybe they're just scared of Gaming bringing everybody. You go back to that game 1, every time they pushed aggressively, Gaming brought their whole team.
Yeah,
just
that's
matched
true.
them, especially the 2 cores between Ace and Quinn. I would be a little less worried about this Beastmaster because I think Beastmasters tend to just want to play their own game more than the reactionary one. But you can't blame them from being a little skittish about the reactions. And of course, if you're skittish, Dyrachyo is going to punish you. Another mega ancient stack that's not been blocked up. This smoke is aimed to kill Ace, I believe. Just try and prevent this tier 1 going down.
That's really interesting because they have a ward on the high ground watching Dyrachyo farm.
They know this Lina is doing this right now, so they are picking their poison, and they're going to say, Ace, you're the bigger threat to the map. We're going to let Lina get her stack, but you are going to pay the price.
The TP being used is a nice little bonus for Liquid there. But, you know, so many threats on the map. Dyrachyo cleaned out that ancient stack, is now doing the hard camp as well. So it doesn't really feel that bad for Gaming Gladiators, I don't think.
No, I don't think Ace is sad about their rotation too much. And I don't think Gaming are sad because Tofu's been able to sit bottom, get his level 6 on the Shadow Demon. This is a hero where the levels are all important in getting into that mid game. And they can defend the towers. This is a very static map in terms of who's pressuring who outside of the Beastmaster trying to force the issue. There's not a lot of tower push on this Liquid side, but they do have a lot of tower defense. Between Kunkka, Treant, even the Sniper, being around those tier 1s, giving them the vision. Those are the engagements Liquid want to take, so I feel for why they went to that Beast, right? You have to start shutting them down so that when those engagements go to your early towers, you're ready to take them, and you can actually take the fights that you want to in this game.
Oh, Nisha. Very smart move, using the X on himself to try and contest the power runes.
Flirting with danger, my man.
Yeah, he certainly was. Bat Rider, Zai, is going to also be flirting with some danger. Here's the diffuse of like just got picked up by Quinn, and his TP is not going to work.
Very bold teleport, my friend. I mean, early diffusal plus the double damage, that's a guaranteed kill on somebody as long as it connects. So again, the rune control from the advantage Quinn builds on mid. These little things start adding up, and that's why so many games have snowballed so fast for this team. Cannot let this Pango get back out of control. And then once more, Ace is going to start to push top. He has his Helm of the Dominator. Jabs, you want to fight this tower, but it's honestly so low, and where's the help, right? Your bat is dead. Nisha, you can TP up here, but he's trying to close in on BKB. They'll glyph it for now. Still, this is kind of a fight you want to take if you're Liquid, because you're not going to get too many of them.
Rubik ends up sealing take aim. Not quite as good as the living armor that he stole earlier from the Treant Protector. Zion's going to try and help Insania here. There's going to be a close call on telekinesis before he can get the lasso. Intercepted by Gaming Gladiators. And now they're going to try and grab for more. With the Rolling Thunder, they're going to chase down Nisha here. Level 6 is up on the Treant Protector. He actually doesn't have mana for Overgrowth, though. But
just a little tap on his head.
Yeah.
Say, I know what's up. I know I've won mid versus you like the last 5 times.
Yeah, that has been a thing. I mean, we always told Nisha, the common thing is everybody kind of holds this guy as potentially the best player in the world, but is he actually the best laner in the world?
I think that is an area you can exploit him. I think people consider him the best because of the well-rounded nature of his gameplay. But in a straight one-on-one, I might take Quinn.
I mean, Quinn's making a pretty good argument this tournament.
Like, his laning is crazy good.
I like how hesitant you say that. Like it's sacrilegious.
Well, I mean, I know that's going to create an entire thread of how dare he besmirch the god's name.
the thing is, certain players are just better at certain aspects of the game, and
it's about how you can exploit those.
Yeah, and to Quinn's credit, right, laning is a specialty for him.
I mean, I hope so. That's what he spent the most time on, so
yeah.
If it's not good by now, I don't know what to tell you, son.
Well, maybe it's paying off now.
We also went into the hyperbolic training chamber with Sumail in one-on-one lobbies forever. Can't really ask for a better master, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Continuing to build up Liquid. Not really having too many options, too many moves to make.
Kill a couple creeps.
Yeah, that's about it. Certainly not killing heroes.
No, and that's part of where the gap is just too hard to close right now. You have some of the damage in the team fight, but Zai went bots first, and he just can't run into these lineups, right? It's not going to be some super fast blink. He needs other items to scale in this game, but you can't run into the Beastmaster boards. There's a Rubik Lift, there's a Shadow Demon Purge, Diffusal on this Pangolier. The ways to start the engagement right now for Liquid are really hard, which is why I was saying you really want to keep your tier 1s up so you can get the fight of gaming going into you.
Sure,
That's where the boat, the overgrowth, the tiny spells can be a lot easier to cast, and then the fight comes naturally.
And the sniper as well, right?
Yes,
maybe
especially.
not the spells, but just him right-clicking behind the tower feels pretty nice.
So at least you have this tier 1 mid you can play around. You still have your triangle that Mickey's been farming. This game looks better than last one because at least you aren't getting routed super early on the map. But again, you're in this position where Zai is behind.
Do not leave the trees.
Quinn is out of control. And now that tier 1 push comes in, this is what's going to open up Roshan for the gaming lineup, which means Aegis for Lina, who we haven't really talked about Duraccio, but he is doing Lina things, has not died, has the early boots of travel on top of the Maelstrom. So this is the super fast accelerating greedy build. Of course, you can always bots to the beast creeps as well, just creating extra lane pressure.
Catching Nisha from the side of the LSA, and then the roar afterwards. Whew, man. Kunkka is supposed to be a tanky hero. He didn't look like it there. Nice use of the purge there from Tofu. A better flame break, though, bumps him back into lasso, while at the same time, Insania trying to hold this mid lane doesn't work so well for him. Rolling Thunder is going to be able to catch up to Mickey. Jabs, he's going to show up in Overgrowth, but immediately gets resolved.
Already have the shard.
Oh, immediately used roll-up. That's pretty cool.
Yep, so this Overgrowth, it's not that good anymore, honestly. It's pretty hard here. And now your tier 1 mid is down. You lose your triangle to Ace. He's going to start to take over even more of your map through the vision and the unit control. X on Celery can play a lot here. You have a lot of games you can throw.
Team's going to try and help out Zai, but he's already taken so much damage, he's not going to be able to Firefly over the cliff. They get a toss back on the Beastmaster. Nisha's here with this full combo. It's gonna, Insania's already dead. Beastmaster's gonna be tanky, and he gets a disruption to save him. So there's no way Liquid could stick around for this.
I mean, if you're Bat Tiny or dead, you have no damage unless Mickey has suddenly found a Divine Rapier in the jungle.
Yeah, and he's forced to use his first BKB charge just to stay alive, and he's still perched up. He still may die here. If they want to dive him underneath tier 2,
dead.
he's gone.
And that was a fight where the creep that Duraccio was boxing to died. So
Oh, really?
Lina was going to join that engagement, didn't even make it, and you're still getting cleaned up here on Liquid side. Yikes. There's just nowhere to run with this lineup, but I feel like Nisha's game on this Kunkka is way too hard. There's too many saves, there's too many kiting elements in the fight, and there's a lack of damage. The damage is supposed to come from the Batrider, but he got sacked on the lane, and he's really far behind. Cleanse is already out for Tofu on this Shadow Demon. I mean, that's even more of your damage going out the window. This is going to be another very quick game unless Liquid pull an even bigger rabbit out of the even tinier pirate hat that is shrinking every minute.
Giant hair.
I feel for Jabs, you know. This is a very tough introduction back into the top echelons of competitive Dota.
I mean, he had his opportunity with that lower bracket finals to experience victory on the main stage. I'm sure that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for him. And it's kind of looking like a once-in-a-lifetime experience the way this series is going, because Gaming Gladiators are going to take that Roshan like you were talking about. It seems like, you know, it is inevitable at this point. They're going to get an Aegis. I'm not even sure if Duraccio needs it because he has BKB, but I guess no one else is going to take it.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
nobody wants
Quinn.
it. Honestly, you could deny it.
Yeah, seriously.
Duraccio just doesn't even care.
That would be the most BM move
That
of
would be
all
way
time.
too BM. There's no way this team's going to do it. They're too wholesome.
That's true.
But of course, the state of the game, it's, again, where is the damage going to come from here? As Nisha is just gone again, I think.
Yeah. He didn't pop the BKB early, and if you don't do that, you're going to just die. Daracho gets his BKB up before the last. Okay, they get the last one, but there's no damage. Like you said, as soon as the sniper is gone or the Bat Rider's gone, all damage goes out the window. And Game and Gladiators have completely run away with this game. This is one of the most one-sided games of the Lima Major.
Lena Major, did you say?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard? Lena Major? Of course, I think there's a lot of other problems in this game than Lena, but it's rough. And this is the problem with this team. You just can't ban what they want to do out. There's so many bans that got put towards Ace. He gets the last pick. He still finds a hero with which he can protect his carry, build some auras, give him the Roshan, the early towers. It's all he wants to do. You can commit all the bans, you can commit all the attention, but he's still going to get away with it. And of course, Quinn is still dominating Nisha on this mid lane. Yep. It's a problem. I think the one grace you can go back to with this Liquid lineup is if you give Mikke and Nisha really good starts, maybe you can start to run away with the game and build some momentum. But if you can't outlane him and you can't get the matchups through the draft, it's just too tough. And again, I feel for Liquid because your support duo isn't there, and that's maybe the one way you can skew some of these matchups or make it back. You don't have that to fall back on. You don't have it to rely on here. It makes these early games even more punishing if you fall behind. But Grand Finals is Grand Finals.
Yeah, these teams are here for a reason, in particular, Game and Gladiators. Liquid, of course, managed to make it here with a stand-in, which is particularly impressive, but they are showcasing. There are levels to the game here, and Quinn
is here, but he got
really good intro. They do manage to get an overgrowth on him. He immediately rolls up and managed to get some rolling away. Now he's going to go back for Mikke. Look to stall him. Zai is being perched up. He actually tossed him over to the sniper to try and help. Poor old Mikke, but it just leads into an LSA. Nisha can't even finish off Quinn at this point. He's going to try and run away with the BKB, but they are done. This game 2 is over. Game and Gladiators absolutely stomped Liquid in this game 2.
I can't help but feel these games are getting more and more one-sided, which is not the direction you want to be going in. At least if you're starting to figure something out, maybe you feel like, okay, game 3, we can pull it back and strike a blow. But this is just getting out of control. I feel like these guys already think they won it at this point.
I mean, probably feeling that way. They're probably feeling like this is when you just managed to bring down Liquid, who again got here off of beating Talon.
Who have been very good this tournament.
They 2-0 Talon. Now they're here in the Grand Finals, and Game and Gladiators is making it look easy. This doesn't look like major finals. This is kind of looking like just another day in Western Europe DPC for Game and Gladiators.
It's rough. I feel for him. It's a very tough position that Liquid's in. You got to try and find something here because you don't just want to give it away for free, right?
No.
You at least want to put up a fight. You at least want to show that, hey, yeah, we're down a man, but we're still pretty damn good. And now gaming, they have all the comfort in the world. You can't ban them out. You got to play versus some other poison. They're up 2 games on you. If I'm Liquid, I feel like I just go back to, I don't want to tell them to go back to comfort, but I feel like you have to get your support duo functioning on some good level here. You forced Insania out of his natural position. You're missing perhaps the best 4 in the world, or one of the best for sure, who's a huge shot caller. So you have to get that support duo functioning on as good a level you can so that your cores feel more comfortable in these lanes and getting out of this early game, because right now, you are not getting out of these early games.
Nope.
The second this clock hits the 10 to 15 minute mark, feels like these games are already in the bag. It's just a matter of closing it out. And I say 10 to 15 because this game ended at 19. So maybe you feel like you can pull it back in the mid game, but at this point you're not getting there.
Yeah.
You just need stronger lanes, stronger dual lanes, stronger support duo, and I would just try and give Nisha last pick if you can get it. Give him a matchup that he feels like, hey, I'm going to go in here and crush Quinn. I'm going to delete this guy from the game instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. I know all this is like, well, that sounds great if you can put it together.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you wish you had a lot more time to put it together too, when you have basically a brand new team and how it's functioning. But time is not on your side. We are looking at game 3 and potentially one of the first NA major champions in a long time.
Yeah,
and a lot new major champions as well for this Gaming Gladiators teams. These guys have not been here before.
Oh,
They're looking at a trophy.
They want it real bad. You could tell that they're quite hungry for it. And, I mean, especially just looking at the performance from Game 1 to Game 2, right? They slipped up a little bit in Game 1. Game 2 was totally clean. right? They just said, we're not going to even give you a chance at playing some Dota here. We won the lanes, and that's just it.
Yeah, it just ends. It's the nature of a Beastmaster Lina. The second you lose towers, the second you lose Roshan, you're going to lose your map control. Ancients fall, you get one fighter on the tier 2, and they call GG because they know after that you're just getting pushed and you don't have any damage in the tank.
Well, we've got the best minds in this stadium here playing out this finals when it comes to Dota, but we've got some other minds who can maybe come up with some answers for Team Liquid as they are down 0-2 against Gaming Gladiators. Are we going to see a Game 4? I don't know. We'll ask the panel.
Well, at this rate, Cap, I'm not so sure if we will. Gaming Gladiators definitely seem to be on fire here, especially in this second game we just watched. And we did hear the crowd. They're cheering on one person in particular. It's Cabezon. Cabezon.
You're doing it. There we
I'm
go.
doing it. I'm doing it.
Cabezon.
Now,
Cabezon. Cabez.
Tsunami, I believe you are aware what it means. I mean, they mean it very lovingly.
Yes, the direct translation, according to Google Translate, said pig-headed, which is probably not as endearing as the intended definition, or rather the slang that seems to be prevailing, which is he's got a big head.
Perhaps like he's really smart,
Exactly.
right?
Nothing
Big
to
brain.
do with the aesthetics,
Big
nothing to
brain.
do with the visual. It's the fact that he's a genius, and he
true.
exhibited it in this game number 2, game number 1, this entire tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can go off that real quick, but to be fair, this game, he did get the early first blood on Insanium before the rune spawn. I was being a little harsh. Maybe Nisha needs to step up, but then I kind of realized that mid lane was a bit harder because he got a free first blood there. But at some point in this matchup, I do want to see Nisha play something that can pressure Quinn. Like, these games have been fast, they've been decisive. You know, the game number 1, there was a little misplay, I think, from Gaming Gladiators. That was not present in this game number 2 whatsoever. I do want to see Nisha kind of try and shut down Quinn, kind of get that last pick. Maybe not a Kunkka, but
I was going to say,
something
because
more aggressive.
overall last pick was the Kunkka.
But there was a first blood. He got a free first blood on
Okay.
Quinn, and that can make a big difference. And Kunkka has like a 5% win rate or something in this tournament, so maybe not that hero.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Conquer at all. It just, everything feels sort of hard as soon as Quinn gets a good game, because every time I look at the screen, he's like diving a tower, killing someone. He's playing phenomenally. He's hitting every spell, and it's just hard for him to do anything else. And you have Celery playing this Rubik, and he's just always with him. He's always getting involved. Like, while like Tofu is just happy to sort of like help push out waves and stuff, or like hold towers a little bit more, and they're able to split their resources across the map because Quinn is having such a good game.
Yeah, even if Liquid was able to get aggressive at any point in this game, which they didn't, I think Tofu's positioning was consistently defensive. He was ready for any potential movements, and Liquid never really had an opportunity to do anything aggressive. Even just trying to kill a Pango mid against this living armor, it takes ages, and it takes nearly 3 heroes to do it. And Dyrachio once again gets his hands on the Lina. No deaths. He's... Okay, you were allowed it for 2 games. My intention perhaps now is...
I thought it was a Treant. What's now?
Okay, you know, I'm in there in the booth with Blitz, you know? We were aligned. He went for the Tree and Protector, second pick. The Lina was overall first. Here's my theory now.
Maybe we should stop coaching him. It's not working.
Perhaps, but I'd be pretty satisfied with the second place result regardless. I say Jabs quickly learns how to play IO on a Grand Finals major. I think that's a great idea for him, because then you can let the Leshrac go through and then take the IO yourself. I'm sure he can handle it. IO, one of the easiest support heroes in the game.
This game, game 1, we had Team Liquid having a rough laning stage, but then they made a comeback because they had like a plan, and that plan definitely had a power spike, if you will.
Yeah.
What was the plan this time? When was their power spike?
Oh, well...
Or could they just not do anything, and that first blood was like it was wrecked?
I mean, it's not just the first blood, right? I think Quinn, he's just got Nisha's number this entire tournament so far, which is very weird to say, as we all thought Nisha would come out and be the superstar and carry every matchup. And I even thought in this matchup he'd at least win a couple games here and there in the mid lane and make something happen, but it was a little bit difficult for them. And I think this game they got to focus on the lanes really hard. Their side lanes are also a problem. It's not just the mid lane, so all 3 lanes need to step up.
Yeah. They also like push themselves to be further ahead than they already are, like all the way up to around 14 minutes. They're stacking Ancients for their Beastmaster on game end, so his net worth is still increasing and increasing. They're pumping more money into it. Can't contest on Liquid because you're already behind. it just got worse and worse.
And perhaps this is an example or a symptom of not having Boxy anymore. Like, we give so much credit to Nisha himself, but we always talk about how Boxy is a very, very mobile 4 position. He's constantly going for water runes, making the enemy have to chase him around in the jungle, and Insania's this isn't his role. And
right.
Jab's also not really able to fulfill that. And so as a result, it's not really too surprising that Quinn just, like you said, has Nisha's number.
Yeah.
And I think that when we talk about, I mean, the missing of Boxy, yes, but when we're talking about Nisha having a rough lane, and that sometimes happens if his hero gets picked earlier. We have seen that in the past as well. But when Nisha has a rough lane, there's normally one player in particular that takes over the role. And this time it should have been, in my opinion, like Zion the Batrider. Maybe like we didn't really feel his presence as much as what we normally do. What happened to him this game?
He played bad offlane and didn't get kills. He tried his best. They dove to Lina, and we saw on cam there how Joshua was like, what are they trying to do? Like, they can't dive me like this. Got a double kill right away, and that's just the nature of bad offlane. If that happens, your game is kind of over. It's very difficult. At least your laning stage is over, and Batrider's a hero that does not come back from a loss like that very well.
And you saw Doratio just gets like faster items as a result of it. He hit like a faster boosted travel timing than usual on Lina in that game. So you're just... It snowballed very quickly. Their presence globally became much more oppressive all of a sudden. So all these things in this grand finals, it's like you just can't make these sorts of mistakes.
So Batrider falling behind, is that part of the reason why we rarely see Bat offlane? It's just pretty much default mid every single time.
Yeah, it's more stable in the mid lane, and it's very volatile in the off lane. The only player we've really seen make it work is Whisper, right? But he gets so many kills in the laning stage. It's like a razor-thin margin of you're going to destroy the game or you're going to be useless, and a lot of players don't want to take that risk.
They do not indeed, and it looks like Gaming Gladiators, they're 2-0 up in this grand finals. We've learned a lot about them over these last 2 weeks, of course, especially, and it's time to learn a little bit more about them as they talk about themselves.
As Dota players, have you felt that playing or becoming part of the scene, let's say, right, as you grow up the ranks, and you know more Dota players, you befriend them more, and you start to become more of a community? Do you feel like you found something that perhaps you were missing before, that you found something that is special to you in the community itself?
I think I've definitely found a lot of, like in sort of more recent times, maybe even post like the COVID era, I think I've found a lot of like close friends from Dota, which is like, I don't know, it's weird to have like international friends and not have friends like where you live. But I do think like there's some really cool people in the scene, and getting to like know people, and you show up to some place and like you're just like, oh hey, it's like really genuinely good to see people, and you get to like hang out with them and stuff. Like that's really cool to show up, and it's like actually really cool to see this person, and you spend time with them and stuff. Like, and you're playing the tournament, obviously that stuff sort of takes full focus, but there's just awesome people around you get to spend time with. Like that's really cool.
For example, Ace, I know you played for ages in a team of like the Danish stack, right? That you played with for like almost 2 years, was it? 2 years and a half almost. You guys played together. Do you guys keep in touch, for example?
Yeah, I still keep in touch with like Hester Joe and Noya and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And Crit that I also played with quite some times back in these stacks. So yeah, we are still like really good friends. We always like make some arrangement where we hang out or something, like maybe
That's sick, actually.
every half a year or something. Yeah.
That's nice. So you do feel like you've managed to find a little bit of community as well, right? In your long history. Yeah, with those guys. If you don't mind me asking, how was it when, like, you guys had to part ways a little bit? So I know they had their compromises in life as well, some of them, but you eventually had to part ways as well because you were going also to bigger teams sometimes. And how did that feel for you?
Like in the beginning, I went to Team Secret from this stack, and it's like it was way different because like when I played with the stack, we were like way closer together, and like we were like actually like really good friends when we were playing. Whereas like Team Secret is like now it's a little more business side, like you didn't really know each other and maybe didn't click as good as with these friends. So it did kind of open up for me that like it's way different on different teams, you know. Like this team also we're like really close together, like as friends and stuff. But like a lot of teams are not really the same, I think.
Do you value that in a team?
Yeah, I value that a lot. I think like you're spending all your time together. It's like a family almost, like, so you kind of have to be friends and have fun and crack some jokes and stuff together. Like then that's the fun part of it, you know. It's like.
So you guys would all say that you enjoy your position here, you enjoy your job, being in Lima, participating in the major. It's pretty chill. That's your answer. Okay.
All right, it's time for the teams to come back into those booths because the battle must continue. It's a best of 5. After all, Gaming Gladiators, they are looking so good on this main stage right now, and their opponent, Team Liquid, something needs to happen, something needs to change. Yes, they are playing with a stand-in, which make things extra rough, and obviously it is extra impressive that they're here in the grand finals to begin with, and we cannot understate that, but at the same time, they got their work cut out for them, and we did see them do it this morning, Neil.
Yeah, they do the work, but it's hard to do all of the work. Yeah, Jabs is standing in for Boxy. He's also the analyst. Yeah. Every single time they have one of these matches, he doesn't have the time to watch the replay, look at all the visions, see what the warding situation was, and synthesize all the information from all of the lanes. So it's two factors that are missing from this Team Liquid roster, it feels.
Absolutely. And maybe that means a little bit more pressure on the coaches. Of course, Blitz is in the booth with Team Liquid. CY is in the booth for Gaming Gladiators. And yeah, they definitely have to analyze this very intensely, Sheep. Put yourself in Blitz's shoes for a little bit, if you will.
Okay. All right, guys. You're all my good friends. I love you all. I'm so proud of you and the road that we've taken to get here. Boxy may not be with us, but he's with us in spirit. So I want all of you to just close your eyes and think of Boxy's smiling face. And remember, you can do this.
I could actually completely hear this verbatim said by Blitz in Blitz's voice.
Date bayo. As he wears his Naruto jacket.
I'm gonna abandon after a speech like that. I'm just gonna walk out immediately.
It's too crazy.
He literally but he literally did those speeches. We heard them at TI.
At TI, he was given the most like.
Oh yes, I heard his voice crack in those speeches. Yeah, exactly. The emotion
better.
Well, you want me to start crying? I will.
Yeah. No, just kidding. No, I think the biggest obstacle they have right now is the fact that I think versus Talon, they out-strategized them all in all. So, like, I think in this matchup specifically, they've got a couple fires to put out. One is Jabs has got to become a world-class 5 really quickly when they already had one. But now Insania, who was a world-class 5, needs to become a world-class 4 all of a sudden. And that's a lot of change all at once.
It really is. And it all comes down to the poison. As you gotta pick one, Neil, and maybe we harp on it a little too much, but it feels like this is something that keeps coming back for a reason.
I think this time Lina gets banned. I think Duraccio is too comfortable on this at this point. What's so funny, Fear? We're talking about banning Lina.
We're talking about heroes again. That's funny. I think in this matchup, it's like
it doesn't matter.
No matter what the poison is, it's lethal at this point.
Okay.
You gotta show up. You gotta show up on an individual level. I hate to say it, but Nisha has to go ham, Mickey has to go ham, and they gotta carry the game.
Okay.
Really hard.
How about some Liquid heroes then? We saw Arc Warden be whipped out for Nisha in the group stage. You gotta throw a wrench in the plans.
All right, cool. It's time for the Nisha Tinker. I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
Let's
something
go.
big, something flashy, even if it's an Ember Spirit or something, but more so than just the hero, it's gotta be the play. He's gotta find that small advantage, even if the team, like, maybe they smoke and get the first blood. They get Nisha the first blood, but it's gotta be play related. You're not out-picking your way out of this one.
Does that mean that if you were in the booth with Liquid and you got to choose side or pick, you want to have second pick ideally, so you have last pick. Overall last pick, of course, allows you to set up at least one lane, like, very dominantly.
No, I want first pick. I think I want to get the Emba hero. I want to get the Brood. I want to get the NP. Whatever those heroes might be. I want to make sure we have one of those and make sure it's not going to the other side.
Yeah, but then you're throwing Nisha to the wolves. What happened to last pick Nisha?
I said it's not about heroes. It's about play. They got to find a way to give them advantage.
Yeah, you know, another thing that they seem to be really struggling with is the vision game. Like, I know Insania's playing 4, and he's probably also taking on the role of 5 in terms of warding. I think it's like making them struggle. Because I think in the game 1, they had much less vision than Gaimin did, and in game 2, they even brought new wards and ideas in. They were like warding the camps in their own jungle, like legit blocking the camp, so the Liquid couldn't farm it, and they also still saw it, and it didn't get dewarded. I think Gaimin are just playing at a way too high level right now, where, like Fear said, the only thing you can do is just bash your head into a wall with the craziest stuff you have, and just see if it breaks through.
The convenient thing in at least game number 1 was Jabs was just a ward in general. He was an invisible Ricky. Not as high priority for him to be putting wards down if he's constantly scouting out enemy territory. But I agree. Being able to get like maybe a Beastmaster for Zai, be able to supplement some of this lack of vision that's coming from your supports, and instead get it from heroes, Fear. Because I do think heroes heroes are quite relevant.
Heroes
They
in
are,
Dota.
but I think you're going to play against a power strategy no matter what. And I think the one thing that they could do that would be really good here, have side lanes that can be self-sufficient, collapse on the mid lane, and give Nisha a game.
Well,
and maybe some trades will happen and it'll be good.
I will say, Daracho looked very comfortable in that booth with his shoes off and feet up there. I do have some extra information. Team Liquid has chosen second pick. They were the priority this time. They could choose what they wanted. They wanted second pick, and that leaves Gaming Gladiator with choosing side. And of course, they chose Dire, as everybody does.
They're cheesing. They're having a good time out there.
Of course, they're having a good time. I mean, they have been open about this, that already when they knew Boxy had to go home, they already agreed with each other. You know what? No matter what, we're gonna have fun. They definitely are a mentally incredibly strong team. We of course have witnessed that firsthand at the international, and we're seeing it here as well. The smiles, even being 2-0 down or 0-2 down in the grand finals at a major, the smiles are still very much there. The question is that gameplay that Fear is talking about, is that going to show up? What do you think it means to be the first North American, or rather first USA person to win a Dota 2 major, Fear?
I mean, I think for Quinn it's going to mean a lot, especially if he wins the way that he is potentially going to win this. It's like a complete shutout. He looks like the most dominant mid laner.
Yeah.
He's going to be riding a big high after this one.
His ego will be unstoppable.
The validation has been long overdue. The bleachers are going insane
They
right now.
They are. And not only can Quinn become the first player from the USA to win a major, Celery can be the first player from the Netherlands to win a major. I want to point that out as well.
Wait, Shiver, you didn't ever win a major, Shiver?
I never won a major, and neither did Chrysalis, and neither did Sing Sing, and neither did Bambo.
Oh no!
So that's that's all the Dutch players.
He's carrying the torch for your country.
He really, really is, and the whole team, of course, is looking incredibly comfortable. Will they be able to continue that momentum in the third game of this best-of-5 grand finals? Will Team Liquid be able to force a fourth? We're finding out. We're heading over to the draft of Gaming Gladiators and Team Liquid, Game 4. A 3.
Welcome one and all to the draft panel for game number 3, potentially the decider here at the Lima Major. It is Team Liquid versus Gaming Gladiators, and we're getting into the third and potentially final draft. My name is Snare. I'm joined yet again by Purge and Lacoste. Gentlemen, they're playing Lina again.
Yeah,
the third time in a row.
This is a BO5. Third game in a row, Gaming Gladiators. You come to Lina Major, you don't ban Lina, you let them pick it 3 times in a row. You got to be very confident. But considering how Duracio played it both of these games, looking at their cameras, you know, Team Liquid, they're in high spirits. They're like, yeah, we know how to beat this. We'll show you right now.
In their defense, during the group stage, they were one of the few teams that ignored Lina. They said, go ahead, pick it. We'll beat it anyways. Obviously, it's different when you have a different player lineup, but I think this is an okay way to start. Tree plus the Tiny is decent. I don't think Insania's Tiny was magnificent, but there were other problems happening in that draft. You know, forcing the Batrider to the off lane can work for some teams.
Yes.
But they dove and they didn't get the kill. They got behind. Things are bad. If he gets the kill on the Lina, it's different. So play better. Yeah, they can beat it.
What I find very intriguing about this opener from Team Liquid is that this is very reminiscent of what we see Talent Esports doing, picking a 4-5 that are very melee oriented, sometimes even in the first phase. Unfortunately for them, Lacoste, is very often, and Gaming Gladiators have been prone to do this as well. You see a melee 4, a melee 5, you pick Undying.
Yeah, it's a really great answer against both. Both are strength heroes. Both don't have any way to kill the Tombstone. So that's going to be always a difficult part. But I'd say it's still a strong opener because it does, like both of these heroes are extremely good at defending, repositioning, scaling, you name it. But I'm still favoring Gaming Gladiators opener. No one beats Team Liquid 3 times in a row with Lina. It seems like that's the that's the story of this best of 5.
It may happen here, though. The last 2 games have not looked remarkably close. They had some okay moments, but yeah, so far this series has been a big draft advantage and execution advantage for the Gladiators. But Undyne will give them a really stable lane. Against strength heroes, there's 2 already on the enemy squad. The Tombstone's amazing. The Roche potential is amazing. It's looking good for them. They're banning out the Enigma, good hero, to potentially limit Lina's last hits. You just spam the Eidolon. She doesn't get super close to them, and if you do, you get a bunch of kills. Also, lane's well tiny. Toss back plus lots of auto attacks from the Eidolons as you retreat can be really good.
Super strong combo. I also don't mind Snapfire from the offlane. You have a Tombstone killer. You have always a hero to play with, whether that's Tiny, whether that's this position 5 Treant. A lot of team fight coming out. You have a saving tool as well. Lina does not like to get jumped on post BKB. Like we see what she can do with one Satanic. So I think this could be the pick that, if doesn't get banned, Team Liquid might be looking into it. It's also Guardian Greaves Buyer, something that they did have in one game. In the second game, they didn't have it. So it's also one of the issues. I also want to see Team Liquid just utilize their last pick much better. I feel like in first game on 23, they picked Magnus, which wasn't really an answer to a Timbersaw. And on the 24 pick, it was Kunkka. So this doesn't strike me as, like a really gotcha pick.
Well, they're on to the second phase of these picks right now. In Team Liquid, they have second pick overall on the Radiant side. It looks like we are going to be leaning towards either Nisha playing this Tiny or Mickey, because they picked up this Grand Magus presumably for Insania. Highly doubt they're going to try and put this Tiny in the offlane. That's definitely not going to happen. So that's one of the cores. Does mean that we're going to be bereft, at least for now, from the Snapfire. Does Gaming Gladiators have any hope of picking it as a 4 position potentially here, Purge?
You can, but it just depends what they want to pair it with their offlaners. The value of Snapfire outside of the laning stage, which has been very common right now, is it's very good against like Tusk heroes that prevent you from escaping. It's a free force staff for any of your teammates, basically, and it's such a good lane dominator because it has 2 powerful nukes and combos well with offensive offlane heroes. So if they do want to pick a Snapfire, they definitely could. It would make their lineup
depending
pretty solid.
what they are planning to pick from the offlane. I think it's a lot of healing. They're doing it.
The Iron Witch Doctor dual lane.
Let's
my
go.
god.
This is one of the heroes that has still remained unpicked at the tournament, and we're all like, if there's any team that's going to pick it, it's going to be Gaming Gladiators. They busted out in the grand finals. Talk to us about this, Purge. What happened in the DPC when they ran this duel? Why are we all so excited to see it?
I mean, it's a lot of healing. This is Io Witch Doctor from the offlane, plus the Soul Rip. Potentially, it's Guardian Greaves Witch Doctor from the off. You need something to stop this healing. I think you need I need to go through the heroes, because right now I can't think of any. And Rubik Treant, they can't build into Spirit Vessel, so this is looking very difficult. I know that Spirit Vessel hasn't been an item, that you're looking to buy. Okay, that's the one. That's the one.
All right, they got a lot of support heroes on the Team Liquid side right now.
Yeah,
though.
they have 4 potentially.
But that is the best anti-healing hero in the game. So yeah, the problem is that Io, every heal that he gets goes into the guy that he's tethered to, and because Witch Doctor does AoE heal, he's getting a heal for himself, and the heal that he puts on Io also comes back to himself. Put Greaves on top of that, double AoE aura, high regen if you get low HP. It's really good at keeping you alive, and Greaves covers all the things that Witch Doctor wants, which is more raw HP with the heal, and armor, because your armor is just not very good on the hero. So, but the Ice Blast can counter it. But the problem is that
you need to hit
it's going to
this
smash
ability.
you, and it's going to smash you before you hit level 6 most of the time.
Yeah. So where does Ancient Apparition rather end up playing in this game? Because we know that this Io Witch Doctor strat goes into the offlane for the side of GG.
This is either Zai's hero or mid hero. I think you need to shift priority here. Coming into this game, Team Liquid definitely didn't expect to pick this hero. Like you can see, this is the lineup that they didn't plan to do it, especially in potentially a game where the Gaming Gladiators is just going to take the whole major. So putting him off in a difficult spot, Gaming Gladiators, they're on to something.
It feels like at this point in time, if I'm honest, I want to see Mickey, who I think has impressed me the most on the side of Team Liquid. I feel like he has to be the one to have the hardest carry of all hard carries. It needs to be a Skadi builder, of course, given all the heal potential here. It needs to be a hero that somehow can fight Lina at the later portions of the game, and it needs to be a hero that doesn't get ran over by this Witch Doctor Io lane.
Yeah, that's That's spooky. That's a lot of different things to solve because normally those ultra late game carries are not the strongest laners either. So ideally, you either somehow take it to them in the laning stage and then solve those late game problems later, or you leave the lane and go jungle and let them take your tower really quick.
If someone can reduce the healing, that's Budge from the safe lane.
But you got to buy Ags first, though.
Yes, that's the problem. This type of lineup from Gaming Gladiators could run you over in 20-25 minutes. I think you need to ban out Storm from Team Liquid. I think that's the other hero that could cause a lot of issues. They have a decent amount of control with Tiny. We still don't know where Tiny's going to go with Rubik's Lift, but they're looking probably a hero to play with Io, and they ban it.
Yep. So now we just need the hero for Quinn to play from the mid lane to create all the necessary space on the map. His Lesher's gone, his Bat is gone, his Ember's gone, his Pango's gone, his Storm is gone. A lot of mid heroes removed from the pool, so is the Puck as well. What are we feeling here, Purge? Looking at the draw from Gaming Gladiators, I guess you want a hero that's going to make space because none of these other heroes may do that for you.
Yeah, some like dive hero would be good. They need somebody to start the fights because they do not have that right now. They're kind of just like death ball heal. So probably some initiating hero like Puck Band, of course, something like that.
Quap, I think Quap comes to my mind. It's not, against the Batrider Quap where you know your matchup. Okay, it's a bit more damage, a bit more scaling, I would say. He does build into Deso. So
it's a good game for that.
It looks really good, and also to buy a bit more time during the Ice Blast as well with the Snowball feels really good.
Yeah, it's a really good point. The Snowball 3 seconds can be life or death. But yeah, diving these supports, can't defend himself. Rubik can barely defend himself. Even Tree, as long as he's got armor on a core and not himself, he dies easily. So I think this is a really good thing that ties in the Gladiators lineup, but I'm obviously going to be... My eyeballs are locked on that Io Witch Doctor lane and what they can do. One tell, though, they banned out Marcy, and you know what? I think overwhelming physical damage could beat the lane. Ursa's not necessarily going to beat it in the laning stage, but something like that could function well while also being good against Lean in the late game.
Yeah, I like the Ursa suggestion. You have a Tombstone Killer, you have good matchup against the Lina. I don't know if they want to dive deeper maybe into it, pick something like a Slark. I wouldn't mind seeing that because their AoE damage is pretty limited. It's just, can you sustain through this aggression from Gaming Gladiators?
It feels like for me right now, if I'm in an elimination game, right, I'm looking at Team Liquid. Slark is one of these super finicky heroes. Things have to go perfectly. I'm looking at Mickey and say, fam, what's the hero that no matter what, you can carry this game, right? Let's assume everything goes wrong. We lose every lane. We're getting crushed at 20 minutes. If we get to 35, which hero do you want to play that allows you to still win the game? So that's probably like what? Your morphs, your TBs. Unless they're going to put this Tiny into the safe lane and still go for something else, a different pivot for Zai potentially.
Yeah, I don't see Tiny carry working out. You're right that those are the better late game carries, but I just feel like they're going to get smashed in the laning stage if they pick those like Morphling TV heroes. But maybe they have to say like, all right,
I forgot about. Sorry, I think Troll is also an option where you like Troll with a BKB plus Battle Fury could be also a bit slow. What the hell is going on?
Well, that's not a troll. That is not, I was going to say maybe CK. Mid-AA, off-lane Earthshaker.
It is a carry Tiny.
It is a carry Tiny. It is Mickey on the Tiny. All right.
Well, if you want something to sustain against this aggression in the safe lane, Tiny kind of works. A lot of raw HP, so the heal isn't as annoying. He's got no armor, but he can buy that. And then if they death ball, you've got an Earthshaker. Now, if they death ball, you don't have to worry on this like ultra late. You're like, we just want to be really strong in the mid game, and then we'll deal with Lina later, whatever.
A bit of a difficult one, I would say. I had to take a deep breath here. Definitely lineup that they did not want to go with. It's a lot of counter picking, a lot of thinking coming into this draft. I'm again favoring Gaming Gladiators. They're just one game away from winning their major title, and I like what I see. I've seen this Witch Doctor Io. It's just super strong. It comes online extremely quickly, and it scales really well with the other two cores that they have. With Tusk, with Lina, they do synergize well with all these healing. Roshan's going to be on menu for Gaming Gladiators relatively early on.
For me, the real difficulty here, gentlemen, is they picked up another strength hero into Undying. They still do not have any real tools to deal with this Undying Tombstone, and they still haven't really addressed the Lina. Lina is still going to do Lina things for the vast majority of this game. It's been difficult because Deraicho has been really good, really good. And right now, Gaming Gladiators, because they've been so good, find themselves on the cusp one game away from grabbing the victory here at Lima and walking away major champions. Nobody on the team except Ace has experienced this kind of euphoria, and now they're on the cusp of getting it for the rest of the roster. Let's find out if Gaming Gladiators can do it or if Team Liquid can punch back. We bring you the best duo in the world. Cap, SVG, please take us to Game 4.
Oh boy, is it going to be a shutout, Avery? A 3-0 lurking in the potential future here for Gaming Gladiators over Team Liquid. I mean, the first two games, Game 1, pretty convincing. Game 2, an absolute stomp.
Yep.
But Game 3 is looking a little weird.
I think I smell a certain aroma, Cap. No,
Yeah,
I'm
what's
not
that?
talking about the dank audience. I'm talking about some cheese. Some fermented cheese that's been stewing in the confines of a Gaming Gladiators basement for some time while they pull it back out of the cellar. And it's aged. But has it aged well? Has it aged like fine wine, or has it aged poorly?
Well, I guess we're
about to find out.
We are going to find out. The panel talked about it plenty. It's the Witch Doctor IO dual offlane combination where it's just heels on heels on heels. And honestly, I could just feel it. The Ancient Apparition as a response pick had to happen. Hey, this could be our last time, so let's just go ahead and enjoy the crowd, shall we? We have had a ton of fun here in Lima. I know some of you guys out there watching some of the crowds probably a bit envious because it has been a super great, just like wholesome experience. Everybody here has been super nice. They've been super excited about all the Dota been going on. I mean, they've been, whistling while they're watching Dota, man. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's just like Marcy. A nice, wholesome experience.
True.
Seen a lot of wholesome comments over the weeks we've been here. A lot of wholesome interactions, wholesome players. Quinn known as a wholesome pub player.
now I know you're just blatantly lying to me, Avery, when you talk about that.
I mean, this is a brawl of a game, though. If you look at these lineups, if I bet you 1 month ago we were going to see Nisha Ancient Apparition versus an IO Witch Doctor in the grand finals of the next Valve event, would you believe me?
I mean, it's only because it's Nisha that I might, maybe just believe it. Just because I know this guy's hero pool is insanely wide, and
Is it
I
this
know
wide, though?
Is it this way?
This is there's a Boeing wingspan wide, and then there's you fall off the tip of the wing straight into the abyss wide, and I'm a bit worried. Ancient Apparition, the laning's not the issue. The early game's not necessarily the issue. It's you get to that scale point, and how can you land your stun as early tri-lane?
The early pressure, and it is. They get enough. Insania, I did not think they were going to be able to overpower those heals, but they do get it. Insania gets the first blood over the core Witch Doctor. And yes, that is a core Witch Doctor. You're thinking it's the other way around. No, this is how they play it. It's going to be the Witch Doctor who's playing the core, who's getting all the items here. He's going to be getting the Guardian Greaves. And I'm sure a pipe is probably decent in this kind of game. And then the IO as the support, and they just share the heals between each other and make themselves kind of untouchable unless you have the right kind of damage for it.
I mean, first blood definitely helps. You're going to tri-lane him early, create an advantage down here for Mickey. I really like it. And again, you're trying to get your support duo back in this series because it's been a rough one for him. So I can play the early waves with the fissure blocks. He's used to this.
Yeah.
So this takes me back to those old Team Secret lineups where you had the Shaker AA, something Puppy loves to draft, right? It's kind of the old IO counter with just overwhelming team fight, and of course you have that healing reduction, healing stopping, I should say. So it's a very fast lineup. If you get these lanes cooking for you, you can out-skirmish them here.
Oh, Nisha, it's going to hurt. Fortunately, the cold feet can force Quinn away. So he's really only going to take that range creep damage. We'll keep a close eye on how the CS performs in this lane because Nisha...
He's at 2.
Yeah.
He is suffering. This is why, hey, mid, it's a rough one. You can get out CS pretty hard. This hero's animation on the attack is pretty janky, honestly.
Yeah,
it's one of the most janky in the game. So I feel for him here. He's also just getting spammed in between the shards and the snowball, and Quinn, he's going to have really good solo kill potential on this lane because he's going to have water room control. He's going to be faster. His spells are just stronger in that early part of the laning phase. And I think Tusk is just a great matchup versus this hero in general, let alone you get the one-on-one mid.
Yeah, I feel like Tusk is the last hero you want to give like a weak, easy-to-kill mid laner to, you know? And especially, as you said, the full water room control. You got both of them, so he's never going to be running out of health or mana.
Just going to hold the wave too, but maybe more importantly is this IO Witch Doctor lane, because this is a lane, give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and you're in game 3, so the mile just, you get the whole mile. You get the mile to the next patch.
You're going to run out of road, basically.
Yes. And early start's nice, but at some point this sustain just kicks in and you can't out-trade it.
Yeah.
They just start shoving you in. This is an AoE heal, so you're healing the creeps on top of each other. It's a lot of pressure in those like levels 3 to 5. Maledict versus a melee hero as well is going to be deadly for a lot of this game. It's honestly a decent Witch Doctor game. If you look at it outside of the cheese they're trying to push here.
Yeah.
He has decent Maledict targets, decent cast targets. You have 3 melee heroes for Liquid here, all of them strength. A lot of clumping can happen.
Quinn just relentless. Top 3 CS on the board right now. It's all the Game and Gladiators cores. So this is not a great sign because we walked away from game 2 kind of saying, hey, we need to be able to have a better laning phase for Liquid because Game and Gladiators, the current momentum they have in this tournament and in these games, you have to stop it early. They start getting a little bit and they just roll out of control.
This is another game where that can happen. It's how they like to draft. It's how they like to play.
Oh, nice block in. Underneath the tower, too. Duracho actually falls.
Okay. Getting some early kill action here. This is one of those lanes where it's like, what would you pick to beat safe lane Lina Undying this tournament? Shaker? No. But it's so weird that it works, you know? You haven't played this matchup. You get caught off a little. Zai catches you snoozing. Suddenly he's evening out the net worth.
And the panel certainly talked about it. You need the cores to be stepping up the game because the supports are just naturally going to have a bad time with the sand and everything. So you need the cores of Team Liquid to be able to perform and carry through some of this game. Everybody's got to chip in. They're going to go for the kill on Ace here, but the heals start going into play. It's hefty damage every single time Mickey throws a swing out, but he can't do it fast enough.
At least they got all his mana before this IO gets to Soul Ring. You're limiting some of the aggressive potential here from this Witch Doctor early, and you're giving Mickey a pretty good start. Of course, you can always get to this AE level 6 and just throw it down there, too. You have stuns this game. There's a reason they picked the Shaker last. You want stuns with mid AA, so this ult and his Vortex are guaranteed procs, so you can make the most of this hero. And honestly, you're talking about the cores popping off. I also feel like that's part of why they picked this Shaker.
Nice toss back, but a better snowball gets Quinn away from that gank.
Yeah, there's not going to be kill threat on here. This is pretty much, you want to give this low XP, get that AA ult up, and then ult bottom and kill bottom. I would not be surprised to see Insania rotate down here. You can just chain kill this offlane Witch Doctor. One of the downsides of these cheesy offlanes is if you just tri-lane them, even at later points in the lane, they really suffer. Because what spells do they have to fight you back here?
Sure.
They have heal.
Snowball, level 6, picked up by Quinn. He goes for a bit of an aggressive move onto Nisha, but Nisha is tanking up. Back over to that bottom lane, though. That's where the gank comes in. Does hit a 2-man Maledict. The telekinesis throws him back into the 2 heavy punchers of Team Liquid.
Any body blocks?
Not quite good enough. Insania couldn't stay in front of him, and there was always the tether away anyway.
I like this play, though. Like, this Witch Doctor offlane is super susceptible to getting ganked. It's like an offlane silencer or something. You're just a sitting duck. And the more you feed off him, the farther he gets from getting to those aura items, which is where this combo really becomes broken, right? Mech, Greaves, Pipe. At that point, you're unstoppable. You might just be able to faceplant into all of Liquid's damage and survive.
Duracho is pushing in pretty deep here. Without the support in lane, he is trying to kick Zai out of here.
And again, he's had a very free start on this Lina. 3rd game in a row.
Look at him. He's like, no. You don't get to get the last hit on this range creep.
Even going to glyph it here.
Glyph it and then go back in, chase him away.
He stops him getting it. There's a
Looks like mid lane, they want to go for a dive. They're holding a point onto Undying, so he could drop a tombstone.
I mean, Quinn definitely wants to kill Nisha here. This is a matchup where you have the kill advantage, you have all the threat. A does not have any abilities to fight you back, pretty much. You can even dodge cold feet. Just going to keep punching him, limit his resources. Also makes him, if he has to use all his mana pool in lane, he might not have it for the ult. And we haven't seen that yet, so you have to think about it. Quinn can call him casting it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the vision.
So he's kind of got to be out of vision to do it, right?
Nisha just walked in the trees and threw it bottom. They're not going to know this is coming. Pretty good setup. Should be a kill.
Got to be able to hit bold. Immediately the stuns go out onto Ace and blow him up. Really smooth move by Nisha.
This is exactly what you want happening in this safe lane for Liquid, and that's why they're having a giggle about it.
Yep.
Because suddenly Jabs is having a game. I feel like for the first time, this Liquid support duo is ahead of the gaming one in this early game in terms of levels and net worth.
What is this rotation? Quinn taking the long route up to top lane. Zai, if they hit the shards here, think he's going to die. They actually get the snowball range, but the
pretty
TP's
deep,
coming
though.
in. This is very deep. Now, oh, look at that. The Undying is so low. Jabs goes for it. The decay keeps him alive a little bit longer. The Fisher's going to be able to finish him off. Quinn does manage to get the support kill at the same time. Nice shards. A two-man LSA on top of that. Cold Feet trying to keep going away. Maybe he's going to be stunned up here as it lashes. They have a Fisher again in 5 seconds. Nisha not really struggling on damage. Nice use of the snowball on the dead Jabs to be able to get away. And the LSA lands on Zai, so Duracio gets the double, hits the Laguna Blade, and walks away from Nisha.
He's already taken it to him. This isn't even Maelstrom Leader. This is just the Javelin. And Duracio is already snowballing so hard in this top lane. I mean, decent reaction from Liquid. At least you're getting some return kills and you force Quinn back to this mid. I was going to say you force him out of resources, but of course Quinn walks into a regen rune.
Yeah.
So he's back to full.
I mean, they still haven't solved this. Like, if the laning phase goes badly for them, it also means power rune control is firmly in the hands of Gaming Gladiators, and it seems like that part of the problem is still not fixed.
Yes, and you're not contesting runes with A.
No, no.
Unless you're bringing the whole squad. This hero is terrible at those river fights.
Yeah.
Especially versus Tuskar. The second you get sharded off, it might just be your fate depending on who's around. So Quinn is likely going to have rune control again here, and he's going to put it to good use. This is still a Lina lineup, and Lina is going to have a very free game, so all these little skirmishes that don't go your way, you're falling behind. The clock is ticking.
Waiting for that next Ice Blast. You could see Ace and Celery are not playing like in the lane statically nearly as much as they were doing so before. In fact, they're going to pull the creep wave just to make things even harder for Nisha to get a good grasp of when to throw that big ultimate to bottom lane.
And Ace is just going hood over this mech, which I like. It's going to help him fight in this A blast and all this magic damage earlier.
Yeah.
You look at this Liquid lineup, pretty much only magic. Until ultra late where Tiny's 6 slotted with Divine Ags or something, I don't know. But otherwise, this pipe on Witch Doctor is just going to allow them to walk into all the objectives they want with this Lina. And again, you can't stop gaming from doing the type of game flow they want to have happen. Not to mention the stacking back on the menu. This is maybe the way of farming the stack you wouldn't expect, so it's a little slower, and that allows you to contest this time. Liquid are sick of giving these triangle stacks up. They are bringing the whole squad.
Yeah, they're actually going to use all their abilities, it seems like, to be able to do this.
I think this is a must. You cannot let gaming get away with everything they have in their game plan, especially with off-lane Witch Doctor. He's not good at defending these stacks early. He wants to hit his aura timing, not skirmish with level 1 Cask, level 1 Maledict.
Also, especially since Quinn was taking your hard cam stacks earlier, too. So,
yeah, you got to get revenge.
Telekinesis back. Oh, hit the Echo Slam. They do manage to clip him. Even if the ult doesn't land entirely, it's enough to be able to shatter him in the end. And Insania will be left inside a cage.
Run some circles. You deserve them, son. Yeah. It's been a rough series, but you can always pull it back, and those big Tuskar kills are going to mean a lot. Again, you cannot have your AA getting forced off lanes here because this hero has no other farm mechanism. He can't kill those waves super fast. He cannot go jungle. He has to stay around mid and be able to throw these ults out. So you need to back him up versus Tuskar in the early game.
He actually gave the tome. Witch Doctor has the tome in his backpack. Very interesting. You could give it to Celery and they could get level 6 there.
You think Ace is going to give a tome?
I guess not, because he put it into his own inventory and pops it.
Hell no, he's the Witch Doctor.
Oh, that was an okay shards by Insania to try and block out Quinn, but ultimately still gets the kill on Desai.
Once more, Quinn is having a pretty decent start. 3-1 and 2, rune control, ganking on the side lanes. These part of the game plan has definitely not been stopped. And once more, you are behind in the early game for Liquid. You're going to have to make it up somewhere. I like the fact they have a lot more levels on these supports than they did in the previous games, and you have a lot more farm too. Also, heroes they're very comfortable on, right? Insania is a Rubik player. Jabs likes his tree. You could fight back.
Walrus punch.
You have to do it soon.
Yeah, that damage will proc from Duracio's Maelstrom to finish him off.
And that was a Mickey TP as well.
Yeah.
Trying to bail out his mid laner, but a little too late.
Stolen shards, stolen LSA. Snowball picks him up though. Nice move by Quinn to help get another one and keep the pressure up on this mid lane. Very important.
And Duracio is just getting active super early because what's the early gap close here?
Yeah.
There's no support tiny threat. It's just Fissure into Mickey walking up and killing him. Unless that happens, Duracio has a free game. He's already up to 1400 HP, level 10. He's going to go bot second here, and he is going to get out of control very fast. I don't think there's a way to stop the Lina progression at this point in the game. You're just going to have to play for those later fights where you get Blink on Shaker and some massive A ult. Maybe around the Roche Pit. That's your comeback here. But Tombstone is pretty annoying.
Oh, no. Nisha in trouble again. They will manage to kill the Undying pretty quickly, but Nisha is going to die punch after punch. Raining in from Quinn. A shard to try and block him out, but it goes up the river instead. And Snowball's back in. Oh, Quinn's getting a little cheeky now. With the relocate coming in, they have the Avalanche and the Telekinesis to be able to separate, so that relocate is not going to work for Gaming Gladiators.
That's something else you have to think about in this game, too. Lina's going to start pushing your Silence, and they have the reload threat.
Yep.
So every Tuskar shard and punch is a setup. Means Quinn can play super aggressive. Not to mention, it's a setup where a heal duo is going to come in. So if you try and turn it around on this tanky Tuskar, you get AoE heal, too.
Yeah.
You get piped. You get greased later on. The Witch Doctor heating up. Look at it go.
I think one of the interesting things about this this whole strategy from Gaming Gladiators that we've seen before is last time they did a Batrider mid with the Riki. This whole lineup is very dependent on Quinn as a mid laner playmaker being able to make a lot of solo moves, basically.
He is the setup.
Yeah.
He's the initiation. He's the setup. He's your BKB Pierce. There's a lot on his shoulders in a sense, but if the game's going this well, I don't think he feels the pressure at all. And as we've seen this whole tournament, if you want a playmaker at this event who's going to be consistent and give you those options, I might take Quinn.
Yeah. No, he wears it well, but I also love the fact that Duraccio is getting more aggressive as a result too, right?
It's part of the comfort he feels in this game. Where is the Lina threat?
Yeah.
It's just not going to be there. He's too fast on the map. Your gap close is not there, and even if you gap close him, you have to land all this magic damage on him and chain stun before that pipe, before something like a Soul Rip comes out. Isle can even tether the Lina in this game. Sure, you're playing Witch Doctor Isle, but it doesn't mean you're leashed at the hip, right?
Sure.
And Celery's going to go the mech, so Ace just goes pipe, he can go shard, he can go blink, he can go aggressive item plus Witch Doctor, and Celery can pick up the slack.
Tombstone's going to be dropped, Zai's going to be slowed down by this, Tofu is going to die, and Fisher block not quite there. Quinn slowed down a little bit.
Stolen Tombstone, very nice here.
Oh, that's a good pickup.
It's going to be a good spell if you can ever get it this game. Combine it with some Ice Vortexes, a Fissure, and Overgrowth. There's a lot of zone control. Quinn wants none of that, back to mid.
They showed their Train Protector up here, which I think is an opportunity for Gaming Gladiators to take that bottom tower finally.
Yeah, they're going to be happy trading here. And again, they just got finished farming some Ancient stacks. Whenever you think there's no stacking going on, they're stacking.
Yeah, that's why they're 5k up even after that kill.
That's how fast you blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
Quinn's going to get another bottle refill mid off that Tofu Death. Everything very efficient here.
Level 12, so he's got the extra Walrus Punch damage coming in.
All right, huge items for Liquid, though. You're 200 off Blink for Mickey, and you have the Blink on Zai Shaker.
Okay.
So you're getting the playmaking tools, but you have to make something out of them. And this is where Nisha can start to get involved more, because he's going Witchblade into abs. So he's playing this as a right-click A.
Yep.
It's good, but it's not good into spell immunity, which means you really want the game to go really late. In order to get there, you're going to have to find pickoffs on the map. Runes are your best friend. Arcane in the river. Maybe you can bait Quinn on it. Or Duraccio if he bites.
Celery spots it.
Duraccio's
going to go over there. Zai is making the move over here. They're both baiting each other at this point in time. Quinn's going to finally go for... Oh! That was a miscommunication. Nisha definitely thought that Zai was going to try and stop that.
Maybe afraid of a reload save or something.
Yeah, could be.
Or maybe Zai thought he could see him and therefore he was just baiting it out, but you're not going to get too many of these windows because, again, every time you go for one of these plays, you're losing on the map.
Yep.
I would expect another smoke here from Liquid and try and get a fighter on this mid. Next A ult up in 30. You have to wait for this cooldown. That was Mickey's blink, too, that arrived off earlier. So double blinks, you're not finding the fight. Feels bad.
Feels pretty bad indeed. With Insania still holding on to that Tombstone, they would have loved to make a move. They can, maybe another 12 seconds with an Ice Blast coming up. And the Witchblade completes. Basically, it's Ancient Apparition. If you guys have never seen Core Ancient Apparition, it's kind of like a magic damage sniper. Once you complete that Aghanim Scepter, you have very long range, but as you says, BKB with magic damage sniper, it implies that BKB is kind of like the be-all, end-all.
It is a lot of damage. One might even say it is the Ice Lina of this tournament.
That's another good way to describe it for sure.
We need to nerf Ancient Apparition. He's out of control. The frozen Lina.
Tombstone behind the tower is getting some good vision of, like, is there anybody here?
I mean, this is a good use of a spell that was timing out. You're at least getting a tier 1 for a lineup that the objective taking is not super high in terms of the power. Getting your side lanes back in, so once again, you have to go back, try and find something. You have limited smokes in this game too. And Quinn already has BKB.
LSA from the trees on Zai. Laying out all the spells. Let's see if he can get the damage in time, and he does. Enough Maelstrom procs will ensure it, and a late TP in from Insania. Cannot even catch Dyrachyo. He's already TPing out and away to the other side of the map.
Man, Dyrachyo has played like a beast on these final 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
He has been pressuring early. He has been making moves, being aggressive with carries. Regardless of where he is in his item progression, he's just asserting himself on the map. And anytime you have a carry player doing that, it makes everybody else's lives easier because it constricts where Liquid can go, which means if you want to get this Tombstone fight, if you want to get these pickoffs through the Tuskar, it becomes that much easier. Everybody lending a hand. The power of friendship, Cap.
Oh, Fisher doesn't even land there.
I mean, this is high ground ward for Liquid.
Yeah, they're going to throw a high ground tomb. Potentially, Tofu gets it off, and immediately Liquid start retreating. Ace is going to be able to hit the cask. That'll isolate Jabs a little bit. Running him down with the Maledict on him, and drops the ultimate. Jabs trying to heal himself with a living armor. TP's back for fear. They do manage to get Tofu, so actually just a 1-for-0. Dyrachyo's nearby, though. In fact, he's pummeling that tier 2 tower. So even with the man down, Gaming Gladiators still keeping up the pressure because they have BKB. What can Liquid even do to this Lina when she's magic immune?
Just dunk it all on her head, honestly.
Yeah, you kind of got to get the initiation and just 100-0.
Jumper with the tiny jumper with the shaker, just kill her before some snowball save can come out. Because, of course, you can BKB in Tusk and just walk into the chain stun here and snowball your Lina.
Yeah.
There's possibility before Blink with how tanky this hero is. Well, Liquid are looking for this Lina, but they're a little too short on the window, and they're going to look for the rune bait again.
20-minute rune, jumps in. Oh, we managed to get the haste rune, so they have to keep him chained. Somebody got off the BKB, and now he's going to turn around with a Maledict on Mickey. He's got to be careful. Nice two-man Fisher, but Dyrachyo, he's on the other side. He's caught Insania already, and Zai's going to be slowed down to a crawl. He stops moving because he's dead, Avery.
There's a lot dying in this game. A lot of hopes and dreams. I feel like you just have to echo him there.
Yeah.
I get not doing it because you just don't know where these saves are. You don't know where the sustain is, but every one of these games it doesn't work. It just gets more and more impossible. And you don't have the faster farmers. You just don't. This Witch Doctor's pretty fast with max heal. He's just running around getting soul rings. You get double arcanes as well through this combo. Like, he is going to have a lot of ores and a lot of utility in this game, and it's going to be very obnoxious because do you want to commit all of your kin on this Witch Doctor Isle when there's a Lina, when there's a Tuskar, when there's a Tombstone?
It's looking pretty grim.
It is grim. I've seen comebacks. I've seen Game 3 comebacks in Best of 5.
Yeah.
We have technically never had a full reverse Best of 5 sweep.
Kaya, Sanj almost done for Ace. That guy is not easy to kill. Because he's got the Voodoo Switcheroo as well. So if you don't burst him 100%, he gets off the Voodoo Switcheroo, and then you got some problems on your hands.
I mean, Witch Doctor's about to turn into a major trophy right here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You like that one?
I'm just trying to imagine what he looks like. All right.
Roshan.
Time for Roshan, and trying to come up with a way. I mean, Liquid do have combos, right?
They
got combo on combo on combo.
You got to find a huge AoE echo here if you're Zai.
Fisher just trying to scout things. That doesn't feel good. So now that it's been used, Gaming Gladiators feel more comfortable committing. They still have Tombstone as well.
I mean, you have to land a huge A blast too because there's so much sustain on this lineup.
Shard gets him a little bit more information. Roshan's dying fast. They got to go for it now. But look at Tofu. Look at Quinn. Even pop with the BKB just to make sure Liquid cannot get close to the pit.
Giving him nothing. Not even an opening. You can take the illusion room bottom. That's your pity prize here. At least you have this smoke still running. Maybe you can make a play off this that Gaming don't expect, right? Sometimes you just split up after this Roche, you get a little lazy.
Yeah.
You have Aegis on this Lina. Not the target you want to run
across.
into. Well, they might know they're on the triangle here, but...
Yeah, with the courier going that direction, they can kind of follow it to the source. In fact, Zai's going to teleport to the other side here, see if they can catch him. They're going to go for it. Celery's going to be first. Chain stun him. Don't give him a chance to relocate, but it does mean that Ace was able to just walk away.
Walk it off. Why not sacrifice a little ball to gain the bigger prize? And again, Gaming stealing your triangle, farming backwards. Every second they're gaining so much gold off this map. You have to find the team fight. There is no option in this game, I believe.
And Game of Gladiators, they've been really good about once they have a lead like this. Oh, toss up in the air. Oh, he tossed him away from the blast. That was not the play.
Not the alley-oop you're hoping for?
No.
But you don't lose anybody. Silver lining there, you know, nobody's dead. You get to wait off the ult cooldown, only 30 seconds.
You know it's bad when Avery is looking on the bright side.
Okay, Quinn is
almost dead. He's going to pop his BKB now. If they have the physical damage, he got a regen. Zai, he shows up trying to Fisher block him. Doesn't actually do anything, though. Hits him with the second totem, and he actually popped the Echo Save for the extra, but it's done. He's still alive. Oh, no, Liquid.
Not like this.
Now Mickey is slowed down. Duraccio is going to catch him. Zai is like, what do I do, guys? The answer is run. As fast as you can, as far away as you can, because Game of Gladiators is a full 5-man machine that will not be stopped.
You just go high ground here. You have Aegis for 3 minutes still.
Just go high ground. It's 25 minutes in. It's the first Aegis. Just go high ground.
Why not? Duracio's played aggressive this whole series. What's stopping him? I mean, they don't even have the crowd behind him at this point. I like listening to it.
Me too. My favorite part is when you can hear the Spanish casters. Maybe you guys can hear them a little bit in the background. And that Roshan was not a particularly hype Roshan take, but they still, you know, Roshan, you know, it's just like, so much energy.
That was a pretty good take. You trying out later or what?
I mean, if only I could speak Spanish. I can roll my R's, but I can't speak Spanish.
Well, there's a lot of things this Liquid lineup can't do, but there are some things they can, which is if you find a hero in the stuns, they are likely dead.
Okay.
Here's some
stun
stuns.
1, stun 2, Ice Blast over the top, no more stuns. It ended at 2.
And that's why I say likely. You know, they are likely dead, not guaranteed.
Oh, no.
You wish you had the Echo there, right? But you can't have everything in this game. And now they're just running away with it. Deaths over Quinn. Duraccio is working towards that Satanic, and we saw what it did game 1. Didn't get a chance to see what it did game 2, because of course that game ended pretty fast, but
yeah.
Might see it here again in game 3, on top of all the heals from the rest of this lineup. Alright, you have a tier 2 push here, you're gonna see something. Liquid want to take the fight. Echo back up in 5. Duraccio
he's exploring. He's going to LSA, maybe.
Oh, they have a ward.
They're going to go for the stun real quickly, dude. Doom Edge hit him with 1. Is there any follow-up? They've got the Avalanche as well, but Duraccio is so tanky, man. He still has that Aegis. Niche up on the back line. He's laying out that damage. They see Celery. They stop him. They manage to hit him with the Ice Blast and the Overgrowth, but they can't follow that up, especially not going through the Lina, but they toss him back into the stun. Liquid playing with a little something now. Ace, he's got to be careful. The relocate. No, it's denied by the Echo. Zai sees his opportunity. He will not let them go away. They will not go gently into that Dark Knight. They are going to put up a fight here in this game 3.
Nisha just pelting them from behind that tower. He's definitely got a smile on his face after that. I mean, I would love to see the damage report from this fight, but you can't ask for a better timed axe in this game from that Ancient Apparition.
Oh, yeah.
Slow start, but now he's starting to come online. Suddenly the damage is there. You can start these fights off with the stun pokes. Another BKB force from Quinn. Some momentum being gained back here.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit to be worked with. And the crowd, I mean, they don't want to leave it at a game 3. You know, they want to see more of this series. They are full on back behind Team Liquid.
Oh, look at that fight recap. 4,200 from AA. That's something.
That's pretty good.
I know that doesn't sound impressive, but we're talking about an AA here. That's pretty damn good. Especially when you're down 16 or 17K and you might have just got high ground. They played that fight beautifully. Chain stunning this Lina. No BKB for Dyrachyo. He just got frame tossed.
Yeah, like that was literally perfect timing for Liquid.
Absolutely insane by Mickey, and then the Echo preventing any hope of getting taken out of here from that IO. And like you said, a tiny star appears in an otherwise bleak night.
Well,
a glimmer of hope.
A small glimmer of hope. And we'll see what Liquid can do with this, because they've got BKB on Mickey, so they have a little bit more fighting power, a little bit more commitment when they jump onto these heroes.
This would be one of the most ridiculous comeback wins I've ever seen in my life. Like,
yeah.
If Nisha carries this game with a mid-ags Ancient Apparition from this point versus arguably the strongest carry hero at this tournament, maybe in a lot of patches we've seen, hell, I might unretire for the 4th time, you know?
Nisha, he's going to be working towards a Hurricane Pike next. He wants Blink Dagger and BKB as well, because he's got to keep away from the initiation aspect.
Yeah, you want Hurricane Pike. You want it badly. The extra tank ability, the gap spacing you can recreate.
And the
Super
range
nice for him.
is out of control at that point.
Remember, that was a fight where Dyrachyo did not get BKB off. He did not have the Satanic. This is a very different Lina after those items are there and after he can pop them in a fight. You still have to be very careful if you're Liquid, but you do have the chain stun capability, and the saves, they are there, but they haven't been there. You do have this BKB snowball save.
They see him underneath vision immediately. They're going to make the jump,
He's
but he has no
gone.
time to return. He's just gone. That being said, Dyrachyo is set up for this fight. Overgrowth on the side to be able to stop the relocate in at the same time. They've got the Ice Blast on Celery. Nisha wants to start laying into him. Nisha's going to give up his life, trying to finish off Celery, and he may actually tick out.
Will the IO crack?
No, not quite.
Still,
Jeez,
you
that
get
pipe
Tusk.
come in and play nicely.
I mean, Mickey lives, you get the Tuskar there. That was an insane amount of burst that came out on that jump. I do not think Quinn was expecting it, because he did not get BKB off. So again, you're finding these little windows if you're Liquid, but Dyrachyo is finding the bigger ones.
Mickey, he may have to use his BKB here, but he really doesn't want to. 1 second on the blink. Blinks over the side, TP's out, and Dyrachyo will not be able to find him in time.
But hey, the net worth is the same. You're keeping it flat.
True. Is that... What do you think their chances are late game? I suppose you haven't seen too many core Ancient Apparitions, so...
Yeah, let me just run those calculations for a second.
Okay. Celery down to half. Mickey's going to have to use the BKB here. It's just way too dangerous when you don't finish off one of those heroes and you've got the Maledict on you.
Honestly, I have no idea what Liquid's chances are in the late game. This lineup is so weird. A lot of crazy stuff could happen on a high ground push. You do have Tiny. Tiny can always create a scenario where you get a toss back, someone's out of position, suddenly Lina dies. The thing I like about Liquid's chances, if you manage to kill Lina,
there really isn't much left,
the rest of this lineup is kind of built around her. You're taking the head off the snake here. But obviously that is a really tall ask.
Oh, that was a bold move by Dyrachyo. He turned around and went for that fight, but there were so many heroes here. He's dead. Dyrachyo, what was that? The rest of the Game of Gladiators team do manage to get on top of Nisha, though, so it's a 1-for-1 trade-off so far. And they've got a nice little 4-man ball that is not afraid of anything, I think, but Mickey's going to go for it. Toss them 3 together. The Angle Slam on top of him. One dead. Tofu soon to fall as well, but so does I. They're still trading out. Tofu managed to heal himself. Quinn goes on top of Insania, tries to push him away with the Psychic, but it's not good enough. Mickey on the run uses the Ogre Seal Totem to try and get a little distance out, but he isn't going to make it. He doesn't have the BKB. The best he can hope for is a TP up, but the snowball stops him.
What looked absolutely beautiful is just not enough. Yeah, you have a crap ton of damage, but this lineup has way too much heal. Oh, you feel for it, because that is the dream. 3-man Ava into the toss, clump him even more, chain him off the Shaker Shard into the Echo. 6,000 damage for this Tiny, but 6,000 is about 1,000 too short.
Yeah.
That's Witch Doctor. That is Witch Doctor.
the IO Witch Doctor duo right there. Look at the heals. So much damage. But
ask for
ultimately, the
anything more.
heals make the difference. Look how low Tofu was, too. The LSA just came a little bit late. I think it was coming off cooldown because Insania had used it before.
Of course, Quinn is going to survive that no matter what, likely, and probably don't clean that fight up, but we're seeing glimmers of what this lineup can do if you do get that clump, and they're finding it. Again, Liquid are finding these small windows in this game that I don't think they have any business locating.
Yeah. I mean, there was definitely a reason why they picked up this Earthshaker, right? Io, Witch Doctor, Undying, like these heroes naturally clump up a bit.
Yep. And
You add in a tiny toss on top of that, you could have the dream situation. Zion's going to break the smoke, blinks down, and away.
This time, 15 seconds.
Insania trying to go for a steal, but is immediately punished by Quinn.
His level 20 talent plus a quiver. This Tuskar is going to one-shot you. Do I even need to say he had Arcane Rune too? I think we can just assume Quinn has an Arcane Rune every fight. That's second Roshan, so this is Shard. Give it to whoever the hell you want here. Dyrachyo is going to take your Aegis and try and push high ground with it. And again, these Roche fights are really good for Liquid, but you just can't contest it. Quinn's not going to give you the chance. He probably just runs in here again, right on cue.
There it is again. I love it. They give the Shard over to the Io. This was something that they prioritized last time as well, because this Io Shard, spell amplification and spell lifesteal, when you already have this crazy magic damage and healing combo.
Super nice.
It still comes down to the Ice Blast.
The poor man's Iolash, you know? Just when you thought you weren't going to have to play against it.
Gaming Gladiators come up with a different look, a different twist on the same old story that has been successful for them time and time again. 4.5 minutes to make some moves here with this Aegis. They've already taken all the tier 2s except that top one. So this could be a high ground push at some point in time.
That Chainstone fight is becoming harder though. You have 3 BKBs on gaming side, and one of them's on Tofu. This Undying has a full BKB. He can just run in there and start healing people, start smacking you, and you can't really turn around on him. It negates so much of the AA damage as well. Yeah, stay in the trees. The trees are your friend.
Liquid spamming help, and they need all the help they can get here. 16 to 21, 21,000 net worth lead for Gaming Gladiators at 35 minutes. And Insania, careful there. They see the orbs.
Celery.
They're going to get a ward on the high ground. They need to start retreating now. The Malazig has already landed onto Jabs. He's going to be in some trouble. Insania is pretty much stuck. He's dead. The snowball on through everybody. Actually clips Mickey. It finished off Jabs as well. Quinn actually goes for a BKB TP out, thinking that he was too far forward.
Smart play. He can get back here pretty fast. It's not like the team has to commit, but they're going to commit anyway.
Oh, 3-man Fisher stun. That's pretty nice. Echo Sam immediately afterwards does manage to finish off the Undying. Gets Celery a little bit low, but the Glimmer Cape does allow him to survive. And the overgrowth on the Lina, and they've got the vision. They've got the damage from the low ground. Nisha's laying into him. The telekinesis trying to get him away with the toss. It stops a toss away, and now Ace.
Nisha's going kind of ham.
Okay. Turning into that ward with the Maledic, managed to get the blink away. Dyrachyo is going to be relocated to the other side, but now Quinn's back into play, and Nisha, without Nisha, there's no damage. They can't deal with Dyrachyo, and Dyrachyo can handle the rest of Liquid without him. Double kill for him. Take that tier 2, and they can start thinking about just full-on Elena Barracks.
Oh, they are feeling it. They are very close to becoming major champions here, and there is no better feeling in Dota outside of that international. Dyrachyo, one final high ground push for you. You're on a hero that you destroyed people with all tournament. What is going to stop him here? You need the toss back of your lives, and you're going to need it fast. Cat's going to bounce through. At least you got a stolen spell from this Witch Doctor. Morale boost.
That's pretty nice, especially with these AoE stuns. It presents an opportunity, perhaps.
You need AA to live through the fight. You need Nisha to come back up before you can even dream
They're
of
going to get the toss now.
That's pretty deep. Glyph for the extra damage.
Nice toss back with the telekinesis, and the cast going around stalls him up as well. Quinn goes in pretty deep, though. He finishes off Zai, knocks him through the roof.
Stolen switcheroo.
Stolen switcheroo to finish off Ace. Oh, Insania! That was bonkers. Ice Blast is out.
Nisha's back.
Nisha is back, but without the Ice Blast, it does mean Dyrachyo has Satanic to work with. He's also going to Shadow Blade his way out of there.
Gaming are slowly closing out this game economically, but hey, Liquid, if they're going to go out, they're going out in style.
Yeah.
Blink switcheroo, sending Ace back to the well. The Doctor did not like that one.
Hey, you said in game 2, what does Nisha need? What does this dust do? Well, you said a moon shard.
That's true.
He's going to moon shard in game 3.
He
The
will
ancient
get there.
apparition. It's going to just be a Gatling gun of snowballs.
You really need that level 20 talent, too.
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about it a lot, but you need it on this hero if you're playing carry. He's one level off. So close. Maybe if you get that and this moon shard, you can start killing heroes in the stun duration.
Yeah.
It's so much magic damage. And it's kind of an interesting idea because traditionally these ranged carries like building the armor, they're going to scale versus the physical. They're not that great at scaling versus magical. We've seen a couple brooches come out in the ultra late game versus some of these AC Furion, AC Titanic Linas. Ancient Apparition was the OG brooch. He is the brooch. Some of these things win you late games. You know, these talented heroes, they're not meant to be played this way. Their experiment's gone wrong. Ice Frog never intended AA to get to this point. Who knows what can happen? Give this man a Divine in the ultra late? He's outranging you.
Yeah, Lina has a hard time being able to throw the damage back at Nisha, especially when it comes to these high ground scenarios. And that is what Team Liquid's kind of banking on, right?
Yeah, they're just playing for the high ground because, okay, Zai's not going to get much more farm in this game, but in theory, he doesn't need it. He's got Octarine, he's got a Quickening Charm, he has very low cooldown stuns, he's just playing the utility Shaker role. No other item is going to change Shaker in this game, which is good for them because he's not getting another item in this game. And meanwhile, Mickey, he's 4-slotted. You really want this Daedalus to pair with the Ags.
Yeah, I was going to
say,
say,
fight, you'll get there.
If you could just get to that Daedalus.
Oh, it changes so much.
With an Ice Blast on top of that, that is just circle destruction.
Because Terraccio is max slotted. This Lina is pretty much capped. So, you know, you play against Lina, but the Lina's done. She's not going to get that. She's not going to get any stronger here. The damage has been inflicted. You can wipe the sweat off your brow. The hard part's over, Cap.
I guess so. Every minute past this is at least the Lina in some ways.
He's too farmed.
Losing a bit of her power spike.
Terraccio has over-farmed this game. He has nowhere to go. That's what you should be saying right now.
Maybe he's going to start giving away shards to other heroes. I mean, we're joking about it, but it is somewhat true, right? The other heroes of Gaming Gladiators are not necessarily going to expand too much either. Quinn is going for a Moon Shard. So he's looking to play off that 25 talent you were talking about.
Yeah, heard me talking last game. Oh, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm
sick.
just going to perma-punch this AA. See you later. I mean, he even has Penta Edge Sword, so extra damage, reduce some move speed, you get the maim. Almost to that level 25. The dream is real here for this Tuskar. And another monumental performance by Quinn, 11-11. The KDA all series long, all tournament long in this main stage has been ridiculous.
Yeah.
5-man smoke from Liquid.
Smoking out, trying to catch an invisible smoked up Terraccio Lina.
And Jabs' overgrowth is super important in these fights. You want to make sure you try and grab this Lina after BKB. Ideally
Satanic?
after Satanic, but again, if you force the Satanic in an inopportune time, that's still decent.
Yeah.
Hell, maybe you just overgrowth and force the BKB, because once his BKB's down, it's when he's susceptible.
Zai smoke breaks, and he blinks away.
Got Tombstone out.
He got Tombstone out of him.
I don't think Gaming want to let him retreat from here.
Yeah, no, they're not. They got the Gleipnir on too, but the Silver on through as well. They do manage to get the telekinesis tossed back away, but it leaves Zai dead in the river. Mickey's going to be slowed down by the Walrus Punch as well. The Ogre Shield Totem once again coming to play. He's going to throw some damage back at him. Where was that blast going? Well, it wasn't going anywhere. And neither is Liquid. They have been caught without buybacks. Gaming Gladiators don't need to worry about the high ground anymore. The red carpet is rolled out for them, and Terraccio is going to blink right past it. He's going to teleport right past it and start laying into the tier 4s right away.
What is there to stop Lina? You let it through 3 times. You gave it to this man, and now he's got a major championship to hang on that fiery belt.
Gaming Gladiators will 3-0 Team Liquid to take the Lima Major.
Another NA champion is born, but hey, we got to give it to this whole damn squad. This is what Dota's about. It's not about the heroes. It's not about the draft. It's about how much work you put in and what does it produce for you. These guys have been working towards this for their entire lives in some cases. You play on teams. You get kicked from teams. You join other teams. Those teams don't like you. You get flamed on Reddit. Then you get a low quality behavior score. Maybe someone tells you should give up. Maybe you think about giving up. But in those darkest times, you think, hey, I still believe in me. I still think I'm good. And it leads you back. And sometimes it just works. The team clicks. And you find yourself walking out of that booth with no one else to beat.
Quinn's looking around like, is there anybody else? He said it was too easy in the semifinal upper bracket, and it seemed to just get easier for Gaming Gladiators.
What an amazing, well-deserved champions for this team. They have been putting in the work. They have been grinding it out.
And you talk about self-belief. I mean, this is a squad that believes in each other. Quinn said he felt like all of his teammates believed in him. They said so as well. And in return, I mean, what an absolute monster performance by everybody on Gaming Gladiators. Duraccio, Quinn, Ace, Tofu, Celery.
These guys know what they want to play. They know what they want to play. You have to give some of it to them. That's a very comfortable position to be in a tournament. Oftentimes it wins you that tournament. And here, that proved to be the case. We got to commend Liquid here because, of course, they are a man down. Yeah. It's a tough position to be in. They fought valiantly. They shake hands with a smile on their face. But today the glory does indeed go to Gaming Gladiators. New champions are born. And man, if you thought Quinn was talking shit before, you haven't seen anything yet.
Look at Ace, look at Celery, they're just...
I mean, even going back to Ace, man, there was a time where after that secret squad, it's like, where's Ace? What's he doing? This guy changed roles, changed teams. People are like, oh, he's okay, he's not that great, but he was by far the best offlaner at this tournament. By the end of this event, who are you going to take over this guy to throw in that lane and have a consistent performance? Absolutely nobody.
A round of applause and cheers for both Liquid and Gaming Gladiators. The fans, every single person in the stadium, I'm looking around, almost all of them are on their feet, giving a warm welcome to both the grand finalists and ultimately the champions. Unbelievable. 3-0 to be able to close things out. You couldn't ask for...
It wasn't just 3-0. They didn't lose a single game.
Insane.
In this entire tournament run. And a lot of those were not close. So yeah, maybe you're playing with advantage in this grand final, but nobody else could beat this team.
Yeah.
And they were the ones contending Liquid in that regional too. Always going to be a question mark, but there are no question marks on how damn good this team is. They are a global threat. Think of the confidence this does for you going into this season, going towards that TI. Now you know you can win. You know you can be the best. Before now you questioned it, but after this, no doubt.
Well played. GG, and that is going to be it from us here on the casting desk. Me and Avery, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to hand it over now to Avo, who's going to be on the stage as we have our trophy ceremony about to go underway.
A las lower brackets fueron de frente, vinieron acá con una mentalidad con ganar, con llevarse hasta Lima Major, vinieron desde las upper brackets, se mantuvieron ahí y pues nada, ya están a punto de agarrar el trofeo de esta Lima Major, una Major que se ha hecho por primera vez en Sudamérica en la historia. La verdad es una fiesta fenomenal. hacer.
¿Cómo estáis, Lima? Hello, Quinn. Un cántico más para nuestro favorito, por favor. Cabezón, cabezón, cabezón.
The horn guy is a beast.
El del cuerno te ama, amigo. Eres una bestia. Quinn, you've become the adopted son of Peru, apparently. What does this feel like? The whole crowd is literally chanting, not even your name, the nickname they gave you.
I mean, I don't know. They're just super based. Give someone a nickname and then call them that. The crowd's sick. Thanks to all the fans. It's pretty awesome.
Sois súper basados, amigos. Gracias a los fans. Sois absolutamente geniales. First tournament EU. First win. Western European buff.
Yeah, I guess so. Go USA. Kick on a clap.
¡Viva Estados Unidos, amigos! Celery. ¿Podemos hacer un cántico para este pobre? Celery, 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 celery. Celery, you've told me previously your journey has had many ups and downs. Was there a moment where you were about to quit and now you're here? Have you ever visualized this moment? Is this the first step of the long journey of a Dota Pro?
Yeah, for sure. Quinn told me I'm not allowed to think about it, and now we're here, so I'm very happy.
Quinn dice que no podía pensar sobre ello, pero ahora están aquí, que está muy feliz de estar aquí delante de ustedes. Taracho. Lina?
Yeah, Lina.
Lina! I didn't even tell them. They just did it. You told me in an interview at the beginning, you watched the Pros at TI, you one day envisioned yourself on that big stage. Now you're on that big stage. How does it feel?
It's good feeling, but I played 3 games on Lina. It's a bit boring, but it is what it is because we have Queen. They're supposed to ban Lishra because they cannot win, so I need to play Lina every game. Unlucky. It's good to play on the stage, it's good to win. I'm happy.
Dice que está muy feliz de estar en este escenario. Dice que por culpa del cabezón tienen que banear Leshrak y que él tiene que jugar Lina 3 partidas seguidas. Es un poco aburrido, pero aquí está, mega feliz de estar delante de los peruanos, celebrando su victoria. Ace, you've been in a similar stage before. New team, newfound community. Tell me about the bonds you've made with this team, what it means to you, for you to win it with these guys.
I mean, on our team, we have a really good friendship. Like, friendship for the win. That's how you win Dota.
En su equipo tiene una gran amistad y con la amistad siempre se gana. No tiene que decir nada más, amigos. Amigos para siempre.